funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood.
And we're live.
Everything just froze up. I don't know what.
No, we're live. You're not frozen on my side. You're having some problems, David. Oh, I just lost your audio. Nope, I just lost your audio. You're gone. Everybody can hear me. Your audio's not coming through on my end. What a great way to start a show. Everybody, this is the Underdog Journey. I'm Wes. This guy is David, and we're having some audio issues. David, why don't you try dropping out and coming back into the show, and we'll see if we can get you added back in. David, I don't know sign language. I can see you. David, I can see you. Everyone can see you. I can see you. Yes, those are eyeballs. Yes, I'm looking down. There's nothing there. We're live, David. This is the internet. This is how the internet works. Okay, he's going to call me while we're live on the internet. This is, let's make this happen. He can hear me, and you can hear me, but none of us can hear David. I don't think I have you muted. It shows that I have you muted. Let's see. I don't think I have you muted. No, David, your audio was, let's see. I'm going to see if I can maybe try and unmute you. Try now, David.
There you go. All right. You should be able to hear me now.
I can hear you now. That was weird. I didn't press anything.
You can hear me.
I'm literally, when the show started, everybody could hear you. And then your audio dropped out all the way. So, great way to start the show.
So just go back to where you had your 5 up and then do the countdown again.
5,
Let's just start over.
4, 3, 2, 1, and we're live.
And we are back.
I thought you were gonna mouth and we're back, so like your audio went out again. For some reason, your audio was working just fine. I didn't press a single thing, but it muted you. So I don't know what that was about. We're gonna have to keep an eye on that. Are you still hearing an echo, David?
Yeah. At least it comes up on this end, and that's me. Yeah, I'm getting the echo. So I'll speak, and then about a second or two later, I'll hear it feedback.
That's weird.
On the circle. So does anybody else out there, anybody watching, let us know if you hear an echo.
Yeah, everybody watching and listening, let us know, because I don't have any
here we
echoes
go again.
On my side. I'm looking at the audio, and now I'm thinking there might be a problem that I'm not aware of, because I'm not seeing it on the soundboard. I'm not hearing it on my side. So let's see. John Callender's watching. John, let us know if there's an echo on David or myself. Because
I got to do the thing. And I'm on a different computer, so I don't have anything set up.
Okay, so Nikki says she also hears the echo. So this is great.
Well, you have AirPods laying around?
An echo.
There it is. Mute.
All right. Let's see.
Echo.
Try now,
Yeah, definitely echo.
You get the echo?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the Underdog Journey.
Joyce Rogers says there's an echo. John Callender says there's an echo. By the way, hi, Joyce. How you doing?
And Joyce says, hi, guys.
Is the echo still there?
Oh, you know what the problem is? You know exactly what the problem is?
What's the problem?
We haven't started drinking yet.
That's the problem. David, are you still hearing an echo?
That's the problem.
Hang on, you got to answer me, though, because I'm making changes to the audio settings.
Yeah, no, it does seem like it faded away.
There's no more echo now.
And I'm touching this here like I can hear anything. No, it's on this side. No, I got no echo.
Okay, I think we might have fixed it. So Joyce, John, Nikki, thanks for letting us know. I think we have the audio issues fixed. Let us know if you still hear an echo. Boy, this is a great way to start a show. Welcome to the Underdog Journey. We're true professionals.
Oh, man. Yeah, and I'm guessing, I think because my daughter got home from soccer, and I think my son showed up about the same time. So about the time when I need the bandwidth in the house, everybody's here. Nikki's probably streaming the Real Housewives of Denver or something on her phone. Penny's probably watching something on Netflix, and Noah's upstairs streaming something on Hulu or something, or playing a video game online. So yeah.
All right. So they're saying they're still hearing the audio or the echo, but it's not as bad now. So
I can hear it too.
Super weird. Let me try changing some other stuff here. Okay, go, David, speak. Speak, boy, speak. Nope, got nothing.
Oh,
there we go.
Yeah, I don't know. So sometimes I can't hear it at all, but then I'll speak, and then a second or second and a half, maybe 2 seconds later, it'll feedback. I can hear it now.
Weird. So Nikki says she's streaming on her phone.
And Nikki says she's streaming a podcast on her phone. No, that's what I was saying. They're eating up all the bandwidth. She's streaming this podcast on her phone.
Hilarious. Yeah, you know what? I don't know what's going on with this. So all the settings are exactly the same as they were last week. So nothing should have changed. I am going to try maybe switching. It's going to degrade my audio, but just for the sake of no echo, let me try switching to my laptop's microphone.
Your laptop's microphone, okay. AirPods in, and set that to your audio output.
Well,
I can't hear you at all because you probably have. Okay, now you're coming through.
Yeah, I'm just making some changes here. That's actually a good idea about the AirPods, though. Let me go ahead and try that. That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah, because then you can use your really good microphone, and you're able to cut out all the echo.
Let's see.
Of course, it's a good idea. You would protect, ladies and gentlemen. This is our 258th.
So
257th.
Hang on, making changes here. Making changes on the fly. This is how we do the show.
Okay.
Like true professionals.
Yes. Adapt and overcome.
Let's see. I can't hear you at all, David. It's
Can you hear me now?
Okay, you keep speaking. They can hear you, David.
Well, you probably couldn't hear me because I wasn't talking.
They can hear you.
So we've had a lot of dead air here in a few seconds. Man, we are off to a rocky start today. We really need to get to the alcohol.
Let's see.
I'm on the wrong screen. Let's bring that screen and minimize it. This screen. Nope, that's still the wrong screen. This is the one I want. Okay. So I don't know how you're going over there, how you're doing.
Fantastic. This is great. I love it. Hang on. I have an idea. I have a better idea.
I would just put the air.
Alrighty. I have a better idea. David, you look like you just froze. This is a great way to start a show. This is fantastic. This is not gonna work. Oh, and we lost David completely. Everybody watching, boy, am I sorry about this. This is a weird show. Technical issues day on the Underdog Journey. David, are you there?
I'm here. I see you just got up and walked away.
I just
screw this. I'm out. Let's see here. Back over here.
Weird.
Did you get the audio or your audio sorted?
I don't know.
We live? I don't even know what's happening.
For some reason, I think you're still echoing, and I don't know why. The echo cancellation is absolutely on. And, not sure what's happening here.
Alrighty then.
It might have something to do with that the mute issue that happened earlier, but you're back. Anna, says David disappeared, but he's back now. So I have an idea. I'm going to try and get my big headphones
Oh,
and connect them
the
that
travel
way.
headphones. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All
So
right.
1 second here. You can
So in
keep
the
going.
meantime, while you're doing that, I'm going to talk about what
There you go.
alcohol I'm going to be drinking a lot of. For those of you guys out there who follow me around the globe, I was just in Puerto Rico, where I got this lovely little hat. It is nice. I think so. And I was gifted a bottle of rum, a lovely bottle of rum. He said he's going to try to find another one he wanted to get me that's some rarity thing, but he said this will hold me over until he locates that. And this is the Presidencial Rum Artisanal XO. And I haven't even opened the box yet. So we're going to crack this sucker open. And voila. Yo ho, and a bottle of rum. Right there we go.
There you go.
So I've got the rum. And as a backup, because I am, I like rum. I really do. It's tasty. I drank a lot of it this past week. I do have a bottle of Buffalo Trace setting, here because while the rum selection in Puerto Rico, as you may imagine, is very good, the bourbon selection is, let's say, Buffalo Trace would be a high point down there in a lot of places. So I've been without bourbon. Does it make me twitch a little bit? Not really.
Well, that part of the world isn't really known for bourbon, so what are you going to do?
No. And I don't want them to be known for bourbon. That's why I drink so much rum.
So everybody watching
That's why
and
all the
listening,
rum's gone.
everybody watching and listening, let us know. Do you still hear an echo on David's end?
No, we're crystal clear right now.
Okay, I guess that solved it. Okay.
I don't have anything. Well, I say that easy, but let me flip screens over here and see if
You're not hearing an echo.
last up was Anna saying Dave disappeared. Oh, I'm gonna plunder some booty tonight. Look at that.
Okay, John says no echo, so I'm going to test.
What's to say? So John says no echo.
Yep. Can you hear me, David?
John says no echo.
Can you hear me, David?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. You were repeating what I just said, so I wasn't sure if you could actually hear me or not. Okay, Anna says she doesn't hear an echo either. I'm going to try one thing. Now, see if David has an echo. Does David have an echo? Anna and John.
Does David have an echo?
Yep.
I heard something. It got a little, but it seems gone. There's like a slight roar, and now, I'm on the wrong screen. There we go. Back onto this screen. So no, okay. I hear it sounds like a little noisier background, but I don't hear an echo.
Oh, that's because I'm on. It changes my microphones whenever I plug something in. Listen to hear if David has.
That's good stuff. Oh man, that is good stuff. Damn. All right, let's see. There are a lot of numbers on here. I can't really see what the. It's 40%, so it's 80 proof. So I mean, I don't know if that's high for rum or not. I mean, how much do you know about rum?
Rum, it should be around 80.
Around 80, okay.
Around 80, because it's not really. It's not like a pure liquor like whiskey. It's actually really high in sugar content, so it's gonna have. Typically, it's gonna have a little less proof than a really high end whiskey, but.
Okay.
But what gets you, the dangerous part, is the fact that it has so much sugar in it. It's sweet, so you drink a lot more, and the sugar makes your hangovers way, way worse. So, by the way, David,
yes.
I think your echo is completely gone now. I'm not sure what happened, but for some reason, plugging in the earphones and then unplugging the earphones reset something to where your echo is gone. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to explain that. But your echo is gone.
We'll just have to look that. We will just have to look that gift horse in the mouth and say, "Let's go."
Yeah, this is the joy of going live, the live streaming. We're only half an hour in. We just figured out all the issues, sort of. John says,
and again, this is not our first rodeo. This is
we're almost at 5 years, David. We're still working on this.
What you got?
John says it'll be around
Yeah.
80 unless it's listed as high proof rum, which would be around 140 to 150 proof. 150 proof rum would be nuts, man. That would put you on your ass.
Yeah. Challenge accepted. Hey,
Elvis
Wes,
says,
you're coming through the mic, but you are very low. Dave is loud and crisp.
"There you go.
Hell
Okay.
yeah, brother.
Well, look, I'll try and raise my levels. I'll try and level up a little bit, but
And
I'm just
I
glad the
will
echo is
probably
gone.
take
That's
my
always
mic.
super annoying.
Yeah, I'll
All
turn
right.
my mic down just a hair. There we go.
There you go. John says
All
Bacardi
righty
151. There you go.
So yeah, I was down there, and Bacardi is one of the things that you can get there. They moved it off of Cuba, and I think most of the production of Bacardi, I mean, they have it all over the place, down in Puerto Rico. So it's it's a local rum to them. I look at it, I'm like, that's just
What's like when you go to Boston and somebody says, "Uh-oh, David, I think you're frozen," unless you're stroking out because of the rum. David, let us know. Do you smell burnt toast? Oh, we lost David again. He's gonna rejoin. We're having a lot of issues today. This is a weird show, man. Um, John Calendar says, sadly, it's not made anymore. The Bacardi 151. Yeah, I've never had that, but boy, I'll bet that would put you on your ass. Maybe David can rejoin, but maybe not. We'll see. Otherwise, it'll just be me and this little person with a one on their shirt over there. We can pretend that's David. While we're waiting for David to rejoin, I'm just drinking the last of my tin cup. It's accessible, it's easy to find, which is redundant to say, but it's good. It's tasty. It's actually one of my go-tos. Okay, let's see if David can rejoin. David, are you there? David, can you hear me? There he is. Can you hear me,
I can
David?
hear you.
All right.
You need to stop pushing buttons.
I didn't touch a thing. You just dropped out. You just dropped. I think it's because all your
I was
kids and
here,
family are using all your Wi-Fi.
maybe, but
Uh,
it keeps coming back up and going. Oh, you're out. Okay,
Anna says,
bye,
"Bye, David."
Dave. Again.
Elvis says, "I blame the riots in California." That's what it is. It's all the riots. David is
That's
in New
what it
York,
is.
so it's full of crazy people. Um,
Yes,
and John says,
I'll be
"Wow,
down in
I've
the
never had
city
something
next
West
week.
hasn't." John, you've had everything that I haven't had. So,
Ah,
John, you've had more whiskey and liquor types than I can imagine. So you're doing pretty well. So, David, now that you're back, while
oh
you're still with
God.
us, what did you get up in any of those shenanigans while you were down south, traveling abroad, as it were?
Yes. So and I made a post about this because I travel a lot. You know that. We joke about it and laugh about it all the time. But I rarely actually get to. I mean, the world around me is just in a blur because I'm going. I've got stuff to do. I um not true. Never found the blue aftershock, and that was called Avalanche, by the way.
That's true.
Um,
So, John, I'm going to find some of that blue aftershock, some of the avalanche, and bring it your way. It's basically mouthwash.
it's delicious.
It's delicious
It's
mouthwash,
delicious.
and it will put you on your ass
It
also.
is
But
good.
it's basically mouthwash.
It's great. What you do is you take that and you just add some vodka or something to it. It's good. Take your alcohol and mix it with higher proof alcohol.
Exactly. That's
Lovely
great.
thing.
And then yeah,
So no, I was saying, you know, I travel a good bit, and a lot of times I'll fly in. It's usually dark when I get there, and I don't really see the sunlight again until the day I leave, and then it's just on the drive back to the airport. But my crew, the people I met up with, my contacts down in Puerto Rico, they were not allowing that shenanigans at all. Excuse me. I'm on a call on Monday, and we're trying to arrange a couple things last minute. And one of the guys was like, "Well, how about we meet for a happy hour? We'll do some talking. We can talk over the thing XYZ, and then we'll meet for a happy hour." And I'm like, "All right, all right." Like, how about I do one better? Let's find a cigar lounge. And the guy's like, "Oh yeah, I'm in. Let me call my wife and tell her
yeah.
I'm not coming home tonight."
You're in the right part of the
And the
world for a
dude, he
cigar
did. He
lounge.
Yes. So then he comes back, and I reach out to another guy. I'm like, hey, dude, we're doing cigars tonight. Boom. All right. We need to find a place to do dinner. He's got an idea for a cigar lounge. He's like, you know what the best place to think about this is? A different cigar lounge. So we went to another cigar lounge to talk. We were talking business. And then while we were there, we were deciding what we were going to do for dinner. And then the next, like, what's the next cigar lounge we're going to? And so I went there. And on the way there, we walked by a hat shop. So it's all, I mean,
Haberdashery.
it was it. It's all there was.
Yeah.
So I went in and I got myself a cover, and I love it. So
It suits
I
you. It
kind
looks
of wish
good.
I could smoke a cigar. I almost did the podcast outside tonight just so I could smoke a cigar while I was doing the podcast, but I decided not to do that. And so yeah, like I said, we're talking about we're at one cigar lounge planning the visit to a different cigar lounge. So we end up meeting up and we have a dinner. It was one of the oddest things, like one of those 7-course dinners or 8-course dinners or something. And it's like these little bites they bring out to you, like for the first course, and they go around, they tell you about every single thing that's on the table. And they tell you about what it's made of and all these things. And there's a white bean soup that they made. I got
Ooh,
a
that sounds
picture of the
good.
recipe.
That sounds awesome. I'm
Oh
guessing it contains white
my
beans.
goodness.
I think that's part of the recipe.
Yes, there were a couple things. There were a couple things in there I would stands out of said white bean recipe, but um, yeah, it was probably one of the best damn dishes I think I've ever had.
Nice.
It
That's awesome.
was phenomenal.
Good to know, man. Did you bring home any
Um,
good cigars?
you know, no, I smoked a lot of good cigars. So they have the Plasencia, the Cohibas, the Monte Cristos. They don't have Cubans because I mean it's an American protectorate, so
Right.
the embargo is in place
Right.
for them as well as us. So but they've got all the stuff that I can get here. So at each of the places, I said I want a local cigar.
Yeah. Go for it.
Now, not high dollar stuff,
Right.
but
You
there
gotta,
was
like
one
when you
that
go
they
someplace
gave
you want
me
to drink a
that.
local beer, you want to smoke the local cigar.
Yeah, that's right. So I go there, and there was one they gave me. It's smoked as evenly as a Bahique and like as fluid as like a number two.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like literally the best of both worlds, from the Cubano world to the Cohiba Bahique and the Monte Cristo number two. If you'd have blended those into a single cigar, about how it
Nice.
smoked and how it
Yeah.
burned and everything, that's what I reckon that cigar to. Uh, it met all of those. There, the flavor was a little different, but I can live with that because this is a cigar I can get my hands on. I don't have to go to Canada to get my fix for Cuban cigars. Which, yes, I do that. I do go to Canada to get cigars.
Well, sure. I don't blame you. By the way, Elvis says, David, you look like Panama Jack. If they did a Where Are They Now?
So I put a post up of this exact outfit actually today, and I said it has come to my attention that I look like a person about to start a theme park which features dinosaurs. Uh, and I'd posted it. I'm sitting in another room, and about 10 minutes later, I hear Nikki reading it and just cracking up.
That's awesome. No, the hat suits you though. It looks good, man. Looks good.
Yeah,
Looks
I'm enjoying
vacation-y.
it. So we're walking there, and the guy I was with at the time, he has one. It's a little tighter on the brim.
Mm-hmm.
The brim's not quite as broad, and I'm sure there's a name for that. And people who are in hattery. Oh, I don't know what's
The
what's the skill of
the,
making
the
hats.
haberdashers.
The haberdashers. Okay, sure, that doesn't sound made up as all.
I think
But
that's
I'm
it.
not going to challenge you because
Somebody out there look
because
it
it's good phraseology.
up.
So he had one. I'm looking around like I need a hat, and we turn and we go into this store. I turn right down this alley or this avenue thing here, and we go into one of those little gift shops. It's got all the hats, but it's got Puerto Rico, and you look at it, it's like, oh yeah, made in China, right? And all the stuff,
Of
and
course.
but all of them have touristy type
Right.
feel to it, and you could look one quick glance at them, and they're like, yeah,
Yeah, you can tell they were made in China.
and then and then so we're sitting there talking, and he speaks Spanish fluently, so he's talking, and he goes, "There's a hat shop across the street." And we look across the street, literally a hat shop.
There's
Like,
actually a
okay,
hat shop.
well, that was serendipitous. So we go over to the hat shop. We walk in, and I'm not kidding you, it was just a whole store full of hats.
There you go.
And this was one of the ones that was up on the wall. This is one of the ones that's up on the wall, and I'm not going to say out loud because my wife is watching how much it was, but it wasn't terrible. It wasn't offensive, but yeah, it was. I think it was a pretty damn good purchase.
Well, it suits you, man. It looks good. Oh, you're
Or my
freezing up again.
phone
Hopefully, you don't
is
drop your
turned
head.
on, so let's shut that. No.
Uh-oh. What's going on? I'm
Um,
worried now. Whenever you
we
say
back?
no, I
Are we
don't want you
good?
to drop off. Okay. It's been such a weird
No, no,
technical
no.
difficulty show, so you're making me
It
concerned.
really has. It really has. So we've went over what I'm drinking. I'm drinking the Oliver. It looks like here's the brand.
Uh-oh. Oh no, I think David froze again. David, if you're still alive, see one of two things is happening. Either David dropped, or he's just messing with us, and he deliberately just stopped in that pose. So we think he dropped. Actually, I think he did drop. So while we're waiting for David to rejoin, my most of my world travels are still ahead of me. So I'm drinking Tin Cup, as I said, and I had Taco Bell for dinner. I did not go to a five-star restaurant in a some exotic country with bro dudes who smoke cool cigars. I had Taco Bell and Tin Cup, so I call that a pretty good night. I'm pretty happy with that. Everybody, what did you have for dinner tonight? Let's go ahead and start that conversation. David should be rejoining us, but while we're waiting for David, let's go ahead and get some news because you don't want to hear me just talk about my stuff. Let's wait for David to rejoin. Oh, David just added a comment. Bye again, Dave. How's the Tin Cup? I like Tin Cup. It's a really accessible bourbon, and by accessible I mean it's easy to find and the flavor profile easy to access. It's not one where you're going to sit down and sip and think about it and pull out the different flavor notes, and you can tell where it was distilled and all the little the caramel notes and the vanilla on the back end. It's just a good American bourbon, and I really enjoy it. So it's one of my daily go-tos. Let's see if David can rejoin. 1, 2, 3. David, are you there?
I'm back. I just had the epiphany that I can click and watch the podcast with everybody else while we were doing that. I don't know.
So,
I was reading off the bottle, and then it just went.
I don't know. What's happening.
Okay.
I don't know if that's on your side or my side, but you
Yeah.
keep dropping off. We didn't seem to have the
I
problem
have
on
no
your
idea.
iPad last week. We didn't have any of these
Yeah, I
problems on
know.
your
So
iPad last week.
yeah, so here's how this is going to work. If it drops again, I am going to take 3 minutes and get my cradle. Oh, it's right there. My cradle for the iPad. I'm going to move this table, get the stuff out of the way, bring the iPad, put it on the mount. I'm going to put it right here, drop the AirPods in, and we're
Yeah.
going to go like we did the last 2
Yeah.
weeks, which hasn't failed us at all.
We haven't had any problems the last 2 weeks, and all day today we're just
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. So
Yeah. It was a battle to get started. We're on our second computer on this end, and we're on our fourth reconnect. So yeah.
it's of course it's we know what did it though is earlier you were like, hey, we should test the connection on my PC because I haven't used this computer yet with this software, and I'm like, nah, it won't take that long to figure out. That was the problem. I jinxed us completely. That's 100%.
Oh. So
By the way,
I seen that you were drinking Tin Cup.
yep.
Very
Elvis says,
cool.
"How's the tin cup?" So I explained it's just a good go-to. It's just a simple American
Oh,
bourbon. You're not going to pull all the flavor out of it in
I've
sipping
got a little
notes.
bottle of Tin Cup here for you, by
It's
the way. It's
delicious.
like a little tiny baby bottle of Tin Cup.
A little cute bottle. All right.
It's not like a little teen tiny, but it's like a half. I don't know how big it is, but it's like I seen it at the liquor store, and I was like, I've got to get that.
Just because
I can't leave
it's a
that.
cute little thing.
That poor lonely little bottle of Tin Cup can't just be left there alone by itself. No, I have to get it.
You need to
So I got
take
a
it
little
home
bottle of
and
Tin Cup for you.
give it a good home. All right. Well,
Yeah,
if you're not going to
yeah,
drink it, I'll be more than happy to take it off your hands.
yeah,
I
yeah.
would
That's
mention
good stuff.
also I didn't have. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say,
No.
I also mentioned I didn't have a really cool dinner at a 5-star exotic restaurant with cool cigar bros. I actually had Taco Bell
Uh,
tonight, so I'm running in different circles from you these days. I think.
yeah, bro, I had McDonald's for dinner, man. What are you talking about? Mainly because Noah, as he was leaving, he's like, uh, Nikki and Penny were at soccer because that's what they do. Um, Noah's like, "What are we doing for dinner?" I'm like, "I don't know." He's, "Well, we're gonna leave out of here. I'll text you where we're going." All right, fine, no worries. Just text me. Well, he didn't text me, and it got a little later. So I'm like, you know what? I should probably just run and grab something to eat real quick. And between here and because of where I live, there's not much like really close.
Hmm.
And the only other thing is a Subway. And if you want to hear me go off on a 40-minute tantrum about how expensive freaking Subway is for what you get, I mean, anytime you want to hear it, just let me know. It's always in the can and ready to fire. So I ran to McDonald's, and at McDonald's, let me tell you something. You were supposed to be a fast food restaurant, which means you don't get good food. You shouldn't be paying a lot and you don't wait a long time. That's what makes a fast food restaurant. But now I'm paying a lot.
Hmm.
I'm waiting a ridiculously long time,
Oh yeah.
and I'm still getting shit food.
Oh yeah.
So forget all of this stuff. If you're not a casual dining experience, you're fast food. Go back to what you're supposed to be.
Oh yeah. So I have my two kids, my current wife and myself. We can't get any fast food for less than $35.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, and
Subway
that's
for us, it's
not
like
eating a lot.
45, $55.
Yeah,
I'd
it's
rather
it's
just go to
crazy.
Longhorn Steakhouse at that point.
By the way, John Calendar says those Taco Bell nuggets hit hard. I haven't had those yet. Have to give those a try.
Oh, that's
Uh,
not code for what happens after you eat Taco Bell?
I think nuggets is generous for after Taco Bell. That's
Ah,
you're
yes.
eating a high fiber diet the rest of the time if that's what you get after Taco Bell. Anna Calendar says the technical difficulties are a sign that you just need to do a podcast at Hofbräu House. Anna, I totally agree.
You know what? That should
As soon as
be
this guy moves back to Columbus, we're gonna do that. But he refuses.
uh no, I don't want to live back there. They got to get rid of a few more people before I come back there.
Oh boy. Yeah. Well.
Anyway, anyway,
Well, look.
but
Maybe
on
there
that
will
note,
be
back to the
some
Hofbräu House.
innovative tech company that will scoop you up and hire you
Yeah,
eventually
it's
here in Columbus,
possible.
Ohio.
You never
It's
know what
possible.
happens. I'm an expensive SOB though. Um, on the note of coming back to Columbus and doing a show from the Hofbräu House, we need to start doing this and promoting that. You guys are going to be getting invitations via every channel that we can possibly get to you to make reservations for, is it July 30th? July 30th
I
the
think it was the
date?
30th. Yeah, it was the 30th because it was one of my two birthdays.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Let's see here.
Yeah, I think it was the 30th.
July.
So everybody, yeah,
Yes,
you do
July
need to
30th. So that's
reserve your
Wednesday.
tables. We need
Yeah,
to
we're going to do
finalize times, but yeah, July 30th, we're doing that. Our 5-year anniversary show. You want to reveal what it is,
Harry
David?
Potter trivia.
Here you go.
Harry Potter trivia brought to you in part by the Underdog Journey and Hofbräu House Columbus. Come in for amazing food, great beer, and even better people.
Yeah, we're gonna be in costume. We're gonna be up on stage with a whole all the heads of house at on
Yep.
the stage. We're gonna be on the house audio and the house TVs. So on the house TVs, you'll be able to see the lineup of the questions. Who got what right. We're gonna keep track of individual winners and house winners because everybody who comes will be split up into the four houses of Hogwarts. You can join remotely though, so if you
And
do
wait,
want to join us streaming, you can join the game also, get the game that way. But you will be in a international house. You will not be in one of the Hogwarts houses. So
yes, you'll be in the IHOP house.
yeah, but we finally got the technology figured out to where we can actually have people live or remote join the same game of trivia, and we'll keep track of all the winners. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. Plus, we're going to have a handful of just one-off questions that I'll be roaming like Professor Snape. Actually, that might be the dress that I go with that night. The dress, the attire, the
There you go.
attire that I go with that evening is Professor Snape. I will be roaming around and dropping impromptu quizzes on individuals for small prizes of cream puffs or some Black Forest cake. And if you've never had the Black Forest cake
Oh,
at the Hofbrauhaus
yeah.
Columbus, you are missing out.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Plus, the cream puffs are amazing too. Jamie Christmas. But that'll be on July 30th. You guys look for a lot more promotional material from us. We have the date, we have the time, the broad in the general sense, but we're going to either run 2 or 3 trivias that night.
Mhm.
We've got to work those details out a little bit more. And we've got, I think, 2 or 3 of the heads of house. So that means we may be auditioning for one final head of house.
There you go. If you know
So
your Harry Potter trivia, let us
yeah.
know because you could join us as a head of house of Hogwarts.
So I think we may be looking for a Slytherin out there. So if you're a Slytherin, um, and own it, one of
You
Harry
gotta own
Potter's
it.
sons is a
I'm a
is a
Slytherin, but I'll
Slytherin.
also be running tech, so I don't think I will be great for a head of house.
Yes. Uh, uh, I'm a mix of Slytherin and the other one, yeah. And the one with the Harry Potter and the Dumbledores and this stuff. But
David knows his
and the
trivia.
Ravenclaws.
Yeah, David knows.
And on certain days I can really Hufflepuff with the best of them. So you know what? I'm just kind of a Merlin. A Merlin.
There
That's what
you
we'll go
go.
with.
Exactly. There you go. Exactly.
But I will be, you're going to be running tech. You're going to be keeping everything on point, and I'm going to be out roaming and emceeing. So we're going to have duties to do. Do
Do the duty.
but so that means that we will need people to fill in, and we've got uh, Marcia for Hufflepuff, and we've got a couple people on your side for I don't know what houses they
We
want.
didn't
Probably
decide what houses.
Ravenclaw.
We didn't get that far.
Ravenclaw and Gryffindor, but Slytherin will probably be the last one, and we're we're going to be looking for a person. So if you are a Slytherin, reach out to us. Let us know. We will need to be there in person. You will need to be in costume, and you will need to be in character the entire night.
It's true.
It's going to be awesome.
That's
It's
the
going
only
to be
rule.
awesome.
So speaking of doing the duty, Elvis says, West, I have to share a link with you. It involves the country of Ireland blocking the building of Taco Bell because their sewage systems are not prepared. I really genuinely hope that's a real article because that sounds awesome.
I really do as well. I really do as well.
I will check that out, and maybe that'll be in the news next week. John says Dave should pit everyone up in Buffalo for the show. You should. So we should all go to David's house, and I think he means put us up. So we should all go to David's house. It's big enough. He can hold about 200-300 people in his house. It's pretty big. A few people might have to sleep in the one of the wine cellars and possibly one of the monocle closets, but and closet.
Those are called vaults.
Room.
Those are called vaults.
Yeah, exactly. But David can hold a couple hundred. I think we can manage that.
I want to joke and or contradict that, but I've got video of a couple hundred people on the corner of my property up here just to trick or treat. So
there you go.
I know we can handle and push through quite a number of people in an evening here.
Elvis says, "Let me grab my keys." Elvis is on his way.
All right. Are we gone? Am I out again?
No, you're still here.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I'm still there. Elvis says, "Let me grab my keys." I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah.
I can hear you. It went all.
I didn't lose you at all the whole
time.
Again. So I'm not sure what's going on.
Oh, good. All right. We're going to add a little bit more rum to the mix.
So
we can't
John
talk
says,
like a pirate if we don't have enough rum.
Hofbrau Buffalo, not your house, David.
There we go.
David's house is basically a Hofbrau house, so it's pretty much the same. David probably has better.
Oh, there is some. Yeah, oh yeah, I have
Yeah,
much better bourbon than they do, but come
there
on,
you go.
man, that's not their thing. It's like judging Puerto Rico on their bourbon. No, 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 their rum, on the other hand, ooh,
There you go.
that's good stuff.
I still have not gotten my taste for rum
Mm.
back. Ever since that one show, I can't. I love
Steve
rum. I want to
Cotroneo
get back
broke you,
into
did
it,
he?
but man, I drank way too much rum that night. I still have nightmares about that much rum.
Yeah,
So David,
that was a. I was actually, which we were speaking of Buffalo. I was just north of Buffalo. I was at Niagara Falls during that show. That was, I remember that very vividly. I
yeah,
remember the show very vividly. I remember the morning after dealing with, you know, kind of some of the complex things that I work on,
yeah,
not as well.
right, exactly.
And just going, uh, we're not starting until 10.
Yeah, exactly. No, sadly, I remember everything, including the after show, and it was rough. It was bad.
Oh man, it was good. It was a heck. We were live on that show for 3 hours, and I finished off, or came really close to finishing off, a whole bottle of Diplomatico
Yeah,
that night.
very
So
bad.
yeah, that was a good one. Anyway, all right, we got news.
We do have news. Let's get some news before you drop off again.
Let's
Let's
get
uh let's see
to
if
the
we can do
news.
this. So
I'll be
earlier when I
keeping
was setting
track
things,
because if I drop, like I said, I'm going to bounce over to the iPad and I'll set everything back up.
there we go. All right. So earlier when
All
I was
right.
setting up the show, you saw this news article. Hopefully it's was still black right now. Hopefully the screen can catch up. Boy, this is a technical difficulty kind of show.
This is
Let's
really
see.
just
I'm not really. There it goes. A little bit of a lag.
there she comes.
Let's get that.
Yeah, I love the name. I love the name of this business.
Right. So you actually mentioned you saw this article, which is I thought it was pretty big news. This is I'm surprised nobody's talking about this.
Yep.
North America's oldest company closes its doors after 355 years. Like that's
Yeah.
impressive. The
And
the
and you
Hud-
can tell that it's not an American company.
because why? Oh, we David froze again. Oh no, David, say it ain't so. I think we lost David again. If we lost David again, he may or may not be going to get his iPad. But I'm going to read through a little bit of this, and David can catch up. So, North America's oldest company closes its door after 355 years. That's insane, man. That's it's so long for a single company to be open, and it just closed up, and nobody seems to think twice about it. I think it's because it's in Canada. That's why nobody really cares. One of the oldest names in North American business has officially shut its doors. The Hudson Bay Company, known to many Canadians simply as the Bay, has declared bankruptcy, bringing close to its staggering 355-year run. Founded in 1670 as a fur trading empire, HBC predates the United States and once held commercial grip over massive swaths of the continent. That is just bonkers. So they actually started as a fur trading company. They eventually evolved into a department store, and they just let themselves sink. Wow, can you imagine like having that kind of a history and just it just being wiped out? That is just bonkers. Um, so I really should have done more homework on this. I'm actually really curious now if this falls down to just poor management or what the deal might be. But the simple fact that they started as what's defined as a fur trading empire and sort of devolved themselves down into a department store, that kind of tells you there's been mismanagement for about 300 of those 355 years. So, but boy, that's still impressive. I mean, look, there's still remnants of the East India Trading Company out there, and they may not be the empire they once were, but they're still around. It's pretty impressive. But again, they're in Canada, so nobody seems to mind or notice. I'll just leave it. I'll just leave it at that. And yeah, David's gone again. Um, he may or may not join us. We'll see where this goes. Although I'm kind of disappointed because the next news article was specifically for him. So I'm going to kill some more time. And let's see. No, maybe we can just skip over to a different news item. Let's see. Man, he's gonna love all these news articles. These are all specific. I'm going to jump over to this one. This is a good one. So this is a good piece of news that would have required. I would have liked to have gotten David's feedback on this, but we don't really need David's feedback on this. This is actually from Forbes, and this is the most promising startups of the first ever Y Combinator spring batch. So Y Combinator YC, if you're cool, is an incubator, a business incubator. So basically, young startups come, they join this thing, they apply to join, and this company has helped to found so many really, really wildly successful startups that massive companies know if your business is at YC, Y Combinator. So massive businesses come, massive investors come, and they specifically scout companies from this incubator. They're really, really successful, really smart. Um, so they actually started a new batch, the spring batch, this year, and these are the most promising startups from that spring batch. Let's go ahead and see what. Let me check back and see if David's joined. He's still not here yet. All right, these are the most successful, or the most promising startups from that spring batch. All right, let's go ahead and see what they got. So Cactus, something called Cactus. Cactus, I'll bet a lot of these are going to focus around AI. I guarantee it. Uh, Cactus is building the AI business assistant that empowers solopreneurs. It's a new phrase that we've been talking about to succeed in handling calls, qualified leads, and managing bookings. Wow. I mean, that's just one of those things that you feel like you could have built it yourself with a custom Chat GPT prompt series of custom Chat GPT prompts. But Cactus is doing this. They're building this AI business, and look, that's how kind of I don't want to say easy it is, but like it's almost like that's how easy it is. You can actually there's a huge wide open area of various niches that desperately need these AI assistants. And if you think of an area that doesn't have an AI assistant doing this, guess what? You can build a business around it, and you can actually go to Y Combinator and get noticed by massive investors and massive companies that want to possibly buy you up. Because that also happens a lot too. A lot of these companies that go to these incubators, bigger companies, Meta, Google, Apple, will actually buy them up for what, $1 billion, hundreds of millions of dollars. And all they did was really they had an idea and they started to build it. And then this bigger company said, I want what you started to build. We're just going to buy you up before you get big. It happens all the time, and I guarantee that's what's going to happen to a lot of the people on this list. So that was Cactus. The next on the list is Approval AI. Guess what? A lot of them around AI. Approval AI is transforming home buying by using AI to automate the entire mortgage process, um, making it radically faster and simpler. One-click mortgage. AI shops, AI shops, negotiates, and handles your application. I mean, so far these top two ideas really can't have been that difficult to ideate and build. I'm not saying that I have the technical expertise to do it all myself, but boy, that couldn't have been that hard. All right, I hear David chiming in. Let's see if he can join. He might be on the iPad now. David, can you see me? Can you hear me? Are you there? And it's still saying muted. I'm not sure why you're muted here. I can't unmute you, David. Hang on, let's go back. Oh boy. It's saying he's muted, but I can't unmute you. Yeah, hang on. Oy vey. All right, this is a great show. I'm sure everybody watching and listening is really really happy about what's happening right now. Let's David, I'm not sure why you're muted. Hang on. There we go. Let's see if that works. David, are you there? Can you see me and hear me?
You should be able to hear and see me now.
I got you, man.
All right.
You on the iPad?
Adjustment there. And we'll go there. And roll them.
Hopefully we don't drop you anymore. I'm not sure what's going on, man.
Yeah. All right. So I ran. Okay, I forgot that my iPad was in my backpack. I took it upstairs to watch the end of Doctor Strange last night when I got home off of the airplane. So as I was setting everything up, I'm like, crap, where's my iPad? So I had to run upstairs, get it. Ah, it was fun.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed. I'm not sure what's happening. This is the weirdest show we've ever done. We've done some weird shows.
Yeah.
All right.
This
So
one, this one, with the exception of possibly the one we did up in Boston at the Green Dragon, this one probably has the most technical issues.
yeah, I don't know
But
what's going
that
on.
one, it was just some noise because the electricity there, Ben Franklin installed it himself.
He probably did. It wasn't even electrical wire. It was kite string connecting all the.
Yeah, it was just kite string.
All right.
All
And it
right,
seems that
355-year-old, uh, oldest company in North America, located in Canada, went out of business, and I mean, with the exception of a handful of us that keep up on this type of stuff, do you think any news outlets actually covered that?
no, that's what I'm saying. I think. Look, it's from Canada, so I don't think anybody really cared. Well, hopefully my screen will catch up to where people can actually see the news items. They just see the black background right now. Let's see if I can switch screens and switch it back again.
I just think you need to close, I don't know, 50, 60, 80, 105 tabs, and you'll be fine.
I'm telling you, that's not it. Let's see. Da, 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 da.
I would, as we're waiting on this to load up, I was talking earlier. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just start looking to buy a new MacBook. Keep
There you go.
seeing how we have software that's aimed for it. But I was using a MacBook the whole time tonight. You know,
Right.
because we couldn't get the Windows machine to the Ecamm software through Google wouldn't through Chrome wouldn't access the microphone and camera.
Oh boy, I'm not sure. So it displayed earlier. It just took a minute to get there.
Well,
And let's see if we can figure this out together.
yeah.
We may just
Figuring
have to
it
read the
out,
news.
figuring it all out.
Let's. We're
So
getting
your
there.
birthdays are the July 30th and 31st, or 29th and 30th?
30th and 31st. We're not sure which day exactly. It's one of those 2 days.
Oh, you're
There
gone
we
again.
go. There's the news.
You're completely gone.
I'm not gone. Are you gone? Can you
Well,
hear me?
you blanked out there. I can hear you now, but you blanked out, completely froze, and now we've got it in the background. Good.
Okay, maybe next time one of us blinks out, let's wait a minute before we start calling it out because you're freaking me out every time. We're having so many technical difficulties. All right, so what are your thoughts on the 355 years of this company being wiped out? That's bonkers. It blows my mind. This company was founded in 1670 and was a fur trading empire. They sort of devolved themselves down into a department store, and
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
it just
They devolved themselves down. I mean, just think of it. They could have been a worldwide leader in commodities,
right. That's what I'm
but
saying.
went went retail instead.
Right.
Which,
Like
don't get me wrong, there's a lot of commodities there as well.
there are still remnants of the East India Trading Company that are around. You look at some of the richest people in America right now. They started in fur trading. The Rockefellers, they started in fur trading, and
Yeah,
guess what? They're still some of the richest old money people in the world. Um,
yeah.
it's I think this might be 300 years of bad management is what this is. Oh, we lose you, David.
Nope, I'm here. I
Okay,
wasn't gonna
he's still
say
here.
anything.
Fair enough. All right, let's move on. I think you're going to like this next one, David. This one I picked out just for you.
All right. Oh, good. Say I.
There we go. No, you're gonna like this one. So, David, I specifically tried not to get any that are gonna trigger you because I remember last week, it got triggered. So, Apple
What was it?
researchers,
What was it? There was what was it that really put us off kilter last week? I think it was
you and
um
Matt spent at least an hour talking about chicken sandwiches. We're not gonna go down that road again.
that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. It was Dave's Hot Chicken getting bought by some company, and I can't
I
remember who.
genuinely
That's
thought that would have
how.
been an innocent article we could have just glossed over in a second, but boy, that's not what happened.
Yeah, no, no, terrible move. Anyway, Apple
But this is
Research
for
has
you.
just released a damning paper that pours cold water on the entire AI industry. All right.
There you go. The illusion of thinking, uh, frontier reasoning models face a complete accuracy collapse beyond certain complexities. So basically, what this
Yes.
article breaks down into is the idea that that the illusion of comprehension, the illusion of consciousness, is just that. It's not actually happening. It's all literally just if-then statements, or this is just Apple's sour grapes because they don't have a good AI.
Oh,
I
okay.
think
All right.
I think that could be the case more than likely.
That was cute as you hit your thing there that went up with the Apple Arc.
Well,
Yeah.
Apple's head researcher did release how he discovered AI wasn't actually conscious, and this is a image of
Is
his
that an
thinking
if then
process.
flow chart?
That is,
Yeah. Okay.
this is basically his the him making
That's
this
his rock
discovery.
solid proof.
AI isn't actually alive.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with this statement.
So as it turns out, Apple tells us the AI that Johnny Five is not alive, and he should have been thrown into the wood chipper.
No, you wouldn't want to do that. Wood chipper would break down pretty quick.
Oh, the
It's
metal
made for
smasher,
wood, which is a fiber.
some kind
It's
of
but a
a
metal smasher
hydraulic press.
or a grinder. Yeah,
Yeah, industrial
then
grinder.
that would be acceptable. But you want to take the batteries out first. You don't want to spill those chemicals everywhere.
So yeah, so David actually would have been the evil guy trying to capture Johnny Five and put him into the metal grinder.
That robot's giving me the red ass. I remember. I haven't seen that movie in years. If it was on right now, I could damn near get every line in that movie. You know, I couldn't do it from mine just sitting here right now, but I could do it if I was watching. I would know what's coming up.
I can't believe they haven't tried to remake that
It's
one.
an impactful.
Out of all the remakes
Let's
like
let's not
that,
give him any ideas.
but
Did you
think about
see
it.
it came out today or yesterday? I think it might have been yesterday. Official Spaceballs.
For this
Spaceball
baseball sequel,
sequel.
I'm not
Yep.
sure how I feel about that. I'm not sure. I'm
Well,
not
the
sure how
the
I feel about it.
the Schwartz Awakens.
Right. I'm not sure how I feel about it. It's one of those that like the original Spaceballs is such a legendary IP that like it's almost too high a bar to meet with a sequel.
It would have been great. Here's they should have not. They should have done a sequel and then a third to have a trilogy. But instead of launching the second movie, they should have just put a ton of merchandise out for Spaceballs 2, The Schwartz Awakens, right?
Yeah.
But not actually launch a movie.
Right.
Because in Spaceballs 1, he was precluded contractually from doing merchandising, which made a big thing in there. He was talking when you're talking to Yogurt about it. So the second movie should have not been a movie. It should have just been a launch of merchandise, which set up the trilogy where you had
Right.
both the
Right.
merchandising and the movie. So and that would have been so Mel Brooks to do too.
Also, they should
Uh
have called it Spaceballs the sequel. That's what they should have.
yeah. That's what
Spaceballs
it
the
was. That's
sequel.
what it's supposed to be.
Right.
It already had a name. It already had a name.
Yeah. So
Agreed. We talked about that.
I'm hoping it's good. I'm really hoping it's good, but boy, it's scary. That's a tough one. I'm torn on that one.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Just punch it into the if then statement calculator and see what happens.
There you go. All right. So now that we know that David would actually be one of the villains that tries to kill Johnny Five, we can move on.
That was an asset that belonged to the robotics company and the U.S. military.
In the same way that that Lieutenant Commander Data belonged to Starfleet, and they had every right to disassemble him and make copies for every starship in Starfleet.
Yes. But we can
Uh-huh.
go back to the Next Generation where he had his Data's daughter, and he created her so perfect with the emotion. When she started having emotions, it overloaded her neural net and shut her down.
That's not at all what I was talking about.
No, but it's still property. That was the episode where they were that's the episode when they came in and actually started talking about the property
Yeah.
of
So
Data.
so look, I mean, you're talking about the same thing. So you're saying that Data should have belonged to Starfleet?
Yes.
You're saying they should have just dismantled
Well, no, no,
Data?
no, 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 no.
Huh?
Data belonged to the creator that created him. I don't think the person who created him was working under Star Trek
Well,
or
as far as they knew, he
Starfleet's
wasn't.
directive
Well,
at
as
the
far as they
time.
knew, he was dead. As far as they knew at the time, he was dead.
Yeah, so he wasn't working on it. So we know he doesn't belong to Starfleet.
Well,
Oh, hole poked in your theorem.
no, no, not at all. Because technically,
Your
if you just
analogy's
assumed
dead, sir.
he was a random computer, the same way if they found like a MacBook laying on this random planet, Starfleet could have easily said, "Oh, this abandoned technology doesn't belong to anyone. They have salvage rights." So technically, Starfleet could have said they have salvage rights over Data because he's just a machine.
Or the Chancellor Supreme could charge him with receiving of stolen property.
What's stolen? There was no stolen.
They find him, they take him, boom,
No salvage
stolen.
rights, David. Salvage rights.
He's not a nickel.
He's an old laptop
Damn
according
it.
to you.
Wait a minute. Am I now arguing with my own self here? I think I am. You know
Yes,
what?
you
Move
are.
on.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, so
need
you're
more rum
contradicting
before I can
yourself.
sit and argue with myself.
You're
No.
contradicting yourself. He's just an old
There
laptop
is a
according to
difference,
you.
but
So
there is a difference. Well, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
see.
sure. All right. Yeah, they had salvage rights. Shut them down.
All right.
I'll
This,
I'll dig in just for the fun of it.
well, this is just a little bit my revenge for last week's chicken sandwich talk. All right. Here's a good one. Here's a good one. So, for 12 years, he's been searching for his hard drive containing
Oh yeah,
$649
I've seen
billion
this.
worth of Bitcoin in a landfill. His story is about to take a new turn. So basically, this is a story about a guy, um, as all good
He
stories
fell
do
in
start
love
out.
with a woman.
Exactly. In 2013, James Howells, then a simple IT technician in Newport, Wales, made a mistake that turned his life upside down. While cleaning his office, he inadvertently threw away a hard drive containing the private key to his Bitcoin wallet. At the time, cryptocurrency was still only worth a couple $100s, but fate would transform uh, his banal, that's not a word you use very often, banal accident
Yeah, but
into the
all yeah.
greatest financial drama of the digital age. So basically, what was only worth a few $100s at the time is now worth roughly $742 million or 649 million pounds, euros rather. So what he's been trying to do since then is he's been trying to gain access to this landfill to try and find this hard drive. He's been to court. He's been shot down by local and federal governments in Wales. There are a few problems with this. He actually took it to court. The judges keep saying, given the size of the landfill, it's almost impossible he would ever find this thing. On top of that, they say that um, the damage done to the environment, the environmental damage, caused by digging through this landfill would be much worse than the upside. So this guy has lost millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in Bitcoin that the local government won't help him, won't even give him access to the place to try and find for himself. Can you imagine how infuriating that would be? I mean, I don't know how you could ever live that
I
up.
actually I side with the officials on this one.
Tell me, I can guarantee you though, some of those local officials are going there at night with a metal detector trying to find this thing.
What's a metal detector going to do for you
I
in a
know.
landfill?
Well, especially
A
since
metal
they don't know
detector.
that I've already been to that part of Wales, and I'm not saying that I have the hard drive. I'm
This
just
is this is
saying.
okay. So this is
I'm
a
just saying
question
that
I'm
you
going to
guys will
pose to
never see
you.
me again. What?
I'm going to pose this question to you. How many hard drives have you thrown away in your life?
Oh, way too many. I mean, I've lost more thumb drives than I
You've.
can possibly imagine.
I'll be right back. So I'm not even gonna leave the room. Okay, I'm not even gonna leave the
You probably have a
room.
pile of hard drives over there somewhere.
Okay, so the actual hard
Is it a
drives.
pile of USB
Uh,
drives?
this is just thumb drives.
And yeah, and those are just the ones you haven't lost.
No, I haven't. I don't. I don't lose. No, no, no.
Hmm?
But hard drives, like something I would pull out of my laptop or pull out of of an old PC or something like that.
Yeah.
I've never thrown a single one of those away.
Oh, I do.
Ever.
Why don't you? Just drill a hole in it. You're good to go.
Ever. No, I back them up to the cloud of the stuff that I need, and then I keep them just in case there's something else on there I didn't need right now, but I might need in the future.
I think they call that being a hoarder, David, or a pack rat.
Or a guy who didn't lose $649 million in Bitcoin because he threw the damn thing away.
How much Bitcoin do you still own, by the way?
I've gotten rid of almost all of it. I watch The Simpsons. I watch The Simpsons. I know what's getting ready to happen. I'm good. I'm good.
Are you anticipating the Bitcoin crash?
The moment that, like, the Willow chip or somebody that has that ability even accidentally
Yep.
says, hey, wouldn't it be funny if we did this? And it goes completed and completely wipes out all cryptocurrency in a matter of moments, not seconds, moments, attoseconds, if that.
Mm-hmm.
It, and it's gone, and there's no way to recover it. No way to recover it.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
hey, speaking of Bitcoin and more specifically the blockchain,
Yeah.
there was somebody I was talking, or I seen a advertisement for somebody who must have watched our show because he is now moving his contracts, all of his contracts,
Yeah.
over to the blockchain,
Hey,
over
there.
to
Look,
blockchain.
we've been talking about that for a long time. That's the real upside. That's the only real upside of
Yeah,
NFTs.
yeah. Well, I mean, besides money laundering, but yeah, but now that USAID is shut down, money laundering's it kind of dropped off a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Not to be political about it.
So I'm just
I'm just
checking.
stating fact.
Let's see.
That is really sweet. I can't. I'm gonna have these two. This one I had, and the one before, but I can't. I can't keep drinking that.
Let's see. So I am just checking the markets because I noticed something weird. I noticed something weird. At so the daily
An
markets on
anomaly.
Google, yeah, the daily markets on Google end at 4 p.m. So S&P and Nasdaq look good as of 4 p.m. But what I'm noticing is, oh, some of
I'm
my
still here.
ETFs are had a significant drop at 7:50, about 8 p.m. today. Significant drops in the Magnificent Seven, in my S&P ETF at 8 p.m. exactly. Massive drops in some big ETFs. So keep an eye out. It looks like things are starting to climb back up slowly. Magnificent Seven, massive drop at 8 p.m. It's coming back up slightly as of now. But wow, really, really big drops all of a sudden at 8 p.m. So something happened. Somebody's not very happy.
Well, yeah. I mean, it makes
Just keep
sense.
an eye out.
It makes sense. They got to start. Certain people have to start liquidating to fund certain other activities.
Yeah, these are really big drops. So I'm just gonna go in and show you. Let's see. Here's a slight. I can't show you my screen because then you can see what I have money in. I'm not doing that. Um,
Fair enough.
but
We'll trust it. There's a dip somewhere on your screen. There's a line that goes.
yeah, so big dips. But look, it's the nature of the beast, right? Let's move on.
Yeah, play the long game. Oh, we got something there. Yeah.
All right. So, David, what do you
All
think
right.
about? So we could run through this real quick. Let's get to the main topic. So I'm going to skip this. This is kind of a longer piece of news. Next piece of news.
Most promising startups from the first ever YC. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So here's a good one that ties almost directly into our main topic. From Fortune, new grads are struggling to find jobs, and they're being locked out of the labor market because of these three factors. So new college graduates are having a hard time finding jobs.
All right. So give us the three factors.
Here are the three
Quick
factors.
quick rundown of those three factors, because I know we're getting there on time. Boy, you shot
first,
for a lot of rubber ducks.
apparently. The algorithm knows me well. At least it's nothing inappropriate. The lock-in effect. The lock-in effect is the first of the three. The COVID pandemic kicked off a major workforce reshuffle, unofficially dubbed the Great Resignation, during which workers were successfully able to switch jobs for higher wages. This is actually showing a big reversal during that time. So during COVID, people would leave their jobs and just hop to the next job for better pay. Unfortunately, now the people who had stuck with their jobs are actually seeing higher wage increases than those who had left during those times. So
Yeah.
what the problems this is causing now for grads trying to find jobs is that employers are being a lot more cautious about who they hire and who they bring in, and they are more likely to hire somebody who's been with a company, been loyal to companies for longer periods of time. That just shows a pattern of that type of behavior versus newer grads
Yep.
who they've been burned by before. Companies who hired these, hot young grads coming out of college, doing great. Guess what? First sign of trouble, they're gone. Next good offer, they're gone. Zero loyalty. So companies being a lot more
So on that
a lot more choosy.
on that very similar note there, I've had basically everybody that I started the company I'm with now is has left, and I still keep touch base with I keep in touch with them significantly. I mean, a couple of them I talk to quite often, and they go, and actually the question is actually posed by the people that are here, and they're like, well, why didn't you leave? I know they wanted you to go over here, or you got an offer from there, and I say, smooth seas do not make strong sailors.
That's a good quote. I like it.
If you want to be the best, you don't get to test yourself only in the good times. If you want to be the best, you want to see how you handle the absolute worst scenario you can come up with.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been put through the ringer, and I up every time. No, sometimes it's a struggle, but you know what? Smooth seas don't make strong sailors.
That's
so you got to, and you can't prove yourself. You cannot prove yourself by jumping from job to job to job.
That's
You
it.
can't
Employers do absolutely look at your work history, and they see they see that if you're a job hopper, it's not worth their time. They're not going to invest their time and efforts
Yep.
into somebody that's only going to be there for 6 months to a year.
Hey, it says Anna's watching. Anna, are you back to watching here? I know we had a decent amount of viewers earlier, but I think we lost a lot.
I think our technical difficulties really threw people off, and I apologize. I'm not sure
Oh
what's
yeah,
going on.
absolutely.
So
Hey, you know what? What we can tell right now is it works much better with an iPad.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. It doesn't like your PC.
It
No,
didn't. We never even used a PC. I was on a MacBook. Yeah, I was on a MacBook Pro, 32 gigs of freaking RAM, an M4 Pro processor. I mean, it's
yeah. So I'll do between now and next week. I'll do more homework, and actually, I'll be at the beach, so I might do more homework. We'll see.
I'll be remote next week.
So we'll both be remote next week. We're gonna see how this goes.
Yeah.
So
that's gonna be fun.
That's right. I mentioned earlier when we were setting up the show, I might be solo next week. So David, if you can't make it next week, I can do the show solo. We can have a truncated show. In fact, I think we should have a truncated show next week, just to drop in, say hi, drop out, and we'll see how it goes.
Drop in, do a half hour topic, get out.
That's it. Before the software decides to kick us off.
All right. So what's number two? That was number one.
Number two, tariff uncertainty.
The lock-in effect.
Tariff uncertainty. So
I'm not so sure that's actually
I think
impacting.
this is
because that's labor. This is labor versus goods. This is no. That's a terrible one. Who the hell wrote this? Eight. This
Well,
is
it's obviously
okay.
written by AI.
Let's
Everything's written by AI.
yeah. Let's see which AI wrote this.
An AI named Britt Morse. Britt Morse.
Uh, Britt Morris. You need to learn how to use ChatGPT better.
So the lock-in effect, I can kind of buy that one. I think it's about 5 years too late to use that one, but maybe. Tariff uncertainty.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, that's old.
I think tariff
Yeah,
uncertainty is just relying on the buzzword of tariff to drive this article.
yeah.
And I think
That's what.
I buy that.
That's. I believe that's exactly what it is. He was looking for SEO or and I'm not even sure if that's the right term for it when you're looking at an article. Is that, I mean, SEO would, it's just a search engine optimization buzzword, something to push this up in a feed, which obviously it worked because it got to us. But no, I call bullshit on that one completely.
All right.
I work in business, and not one person in the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of businesses I deal with have said they're looking at anything at all for tariffs of whether they're going to hire or not hire anybody. You're out of
Right.
your freaking mind.
And this last one I
All
think is
right, go ahead.
also an SEO play as well, which is the new AI reality. So this is making the argument that a lot of grads are having a hard time finding a job because a lot of companies are replacing those roles with AI. I don't
I would
think
say
that's the case.
that's highly dependent upon the field.
I think there are some fields that are being disrupted by AI, but
Yeah,
guaranteed at this point in time, I promise you, if you walk into any company and you have an experience in any role and you say, yeah, I'm not only really good at this job, but I also know AI on top of it, you're going to get the job. It doesn't matter if your role is being, I don't even say displaced, I say disrupted because AI is being,
yeah.
it's augmenting roles. It's not replacing roles yet. And it
It's
might
it's
replace
yeah.
roles in
It's
the near future, but it's not there yet.
it may, and I hate this word. I'm going to use it in context of how those people will see it. It may make you more efficient, but it can't replace you.
That's it. That's it. It may even make you more
You know,
effective, but it can't replace you.
yes,
So,
yeah,
so I was reading a different article earlier that was talking about coders and developers. A lot of firms are requiring their employees to be fluent in AI to assist them. There's something that's really popular right now called vibe coding. Vibe coding. So, vibe coding is basically where a coder and developer will ask AI to write the code, majority of the code. They take what AI gives them and they actually make it work. They build it and they tweak it and they make sure it runs correctly. So they're not sitting there manually coding all this stuff. That's
yeah.
vibe coding.
The data entries, the mental agility that you need is high, but the data entries the time.
That's it.
You
Right.
need to be
So
smart. You need to understand what it's doing, but the data entries and the structure and the syntax, basically, that's
yeah.
where the time comes in. And if you can outsource that to something that you can have kicked back to you in a matter of seconds, which would have taken a week or weeks,
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's
Right.
a hell of
So
a good tool to use.
so at this point, again, I call BS on this part of the article as well. AI is not
Yeah,
replacing jobs; it's augmenting jobs. That's it.
yeah, he's one for three, and that one has an asterisk next to it because I mean, we had to stretch to. So I stretched on the first one to
That was
make
a bit of
it seem like it
stretch.
was going, and then he came up with a second one of what was number two? Number two was something stupid.
Oh, so let's see. Hang on.
Um,
Once I can catch up the lag here. Uh, that's another problem. Is all these ads add a ton of lag. The lock-in effect was number one.
yeah.
Tariff uncertainty was number two.
Oh yeah, yeah. Tariffs. That's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Once you got a tariff uncertainty, okay, okay. I'm gonna go back and reset my position on the lock-in effect. No.
Yeah, yeah. We were being generous on the lock-in effect. By the way,
Yeah, we were. Nice hat.
Terry Whiten likes your hat, and it
Thank
is
you,
a good
man.
hat. You look
Yeah.
vacationy. It looks relaxing.
I I wasn't on vacation, but I'll tell you, it was nice. It was nice. I don't really get to do that level of I don't want to say sightseeing because we went to old San Juan in Puerto Rico, and I mean the poor guy did not take a look at me because I'm fat, old, and over, just And he's like, hey, let's just keep walking up and down these freaking. They're not huge hills, but it's right on the ocean, so it's 100 feet, 200 feet up in the air, from 300 yards from the ocean, and going up and down these damn things. And I'm like, dude, dude, I declare, Mr. Beauregard. Like, come on, man. You're
Yeah, and
killing
it's
the fat guy
fairly
back
further
here.
south than upstate New York. So,
Yes, yes. I get down there, I'm like, dude, like I'm showering 3 times a day while I'm down there. It's
right.
brutal.
That's hilarious. So the
Just
new
laying there naked across the bed, just letting the water wick off me just to get some kind of, evaporative cooling.
none of us needed that,
There's
did
an image for. There was an image and a visual for everybody.
we? Yeah, no, no.
I didn't actually do that. That was for the humor effect. Anyway, so college grads are struggling to get jobs. Now, how does that tie into our topic, sir?
Right. So this was a topic that we meant to get to last week, but we got too caught up talking about chicken sandwiches. So the main topic is the ROI of college for entrepreneurs. Is it for everybody? Only a couple decades ago, I mean, even a couple of years ago, it was just common knowledge. You graduate high school, you go right to college. That's what you do. It's just the next natural progression of that educational process. Um, Terry Wyden says too much for me. I'm guessing too much being the information, the information about how David cooled off in Puerto
it's
Rico.
No, no. It was. They did the fake air conditioning thing down there too in the hotel, where you set it to 65 degrees, but it doesn't go any lower than 70. And then in the middle of the night, it's like, oh, nobody's moving in here. I'm gonna shut off.
Oh no.
And and I'm like, about 2 hours after that happens, I'm
Yeah.
throwing pillows at the thermostat. Like, come on, man, you gotta.
You need to
So
get
I'm gonna start carrying a.
one of those little dancing
Go ahead.
cactuses and put it in front of the motion detector.
Actually, that's a great idea, but those usually run off of solar. So I can get a dancing cactus, and I need to get a small. I need to custom build these. The problem is if they're small, they're gonna run out of temperature quickly.
Uh huh.
But like the old sick bags you lay on your head or your neck, they fill it with ice. They put on your head. I
Yeah.
want to fill it with hot water and lay it across the thermostat, so it feels like it's the thermostat thinks it's 110.
Yep.
So it's going to take the temperature to whatever the heck I want it to in the room, and I'll just I do carry a separate thermometer with me, uh, usually because I have cigars with me, but it keeps track of the humidity and the temperature in the room. So I do
Speaking
carry one of those with me.
Yeah. Well, speaking of new devices that you can carry into hotel rooms, I have an idea for an invention. I can't say it right now because it's actually a pretty good idea. I'm going to run that by you after the show, and
All right,
I might have to call my IP guy tomorrow.
all right,
All right.
let's go. We
So
can figure it out.
the ROI of college for entrepreneurs. So look,
I
think
think
how
if you
many,
don't have a college degree, you're never going to make it anywhere in the world.
and that's what they always said. Look, you need at least a bachelor's degree to go anywhere. You don't have that, you might as well be an elementary school dropout. So we're gonna go into the economics of college. It sounds boring. We're gonna make it exciting, but we're gonna decide, is it really worth it if you want to start a business or be successful. There are guys like Mark Zuckerberg. About a decade ago, he offered people money, scholarships specifically, to drop out of college. This was the thing he was doing. He's offering people money if they dropped out of college. So guys like Zuckerberg don't seem to think it's worth it, but let's dig into it a little bit. So first, this is the economics, right? The economic reality. College is expensive. College is
Yes,
Most people can't afford to go unless they get a couple of scholarships and financial aid
and loans.
and right, loans and scholarships and different financial aid programs. I mean, it's really expensive, even for people who are pretty well to do. It's not cheap. So in-state public university, the average cost is $104,000. Private university averages over $223,000. Like, that's a lot of money. That's a ton of debt for a young person to get into. If unless the parents are wealthy and can just pay for it out of pocket, I mean, that's a lot of debt. That can put somebody in debt for almost the rest of their life. That
I
information
think
comes
that was
from
the intention.
well, yeah. I mean, we mentioned the Rockefellers earlier, so I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. Um,
Hey, I'm not looking for a society of free thinkers.
you need a society of workers, otherwise things fall apart. That's what it breaks down to. That's why I went to
And if you
art
guys
school.
don't get that, you need to go back and reference the J. Rockefeller quotes.
That's it. That's why I went to art school. So you're welcome, mom and dad.
I bet they're so proud.
Very, very proud. Oh man, holy moly! Student debt. Average student loan debt per borrower is on average over $37,000. So that is usually in-state public university after um, tuition assistance and loans and whatnot. You're looking at about uh, just over $37,000. Total U.S. student loan debt is over $1.77 trillion. That's so much money. That's U.S. student loan debt. That is just bonkers. We're not going to get into the politics of certain administrations saying they're going to pay off student debt and why or why not that may not have been a good idea. We're not going to go into it. I'm just saying
No, no, no.
a lot of money.
I'm not gonna go that route, but I am not going to ignore ROI.
Right.
Okay, we're talking about ROI. So if you, as an with an art degree, did you get your return on that investment,
You know what? Yes.
or did you get the return on life
Well,
investment?
and so that's another road I was going to go down towards the end, which is the value that I received from college, right? So I think the value of college can pay off in a number of different ways, but you need to look at it sometimes from a different perspective than just straight monetary ROI. So the second part that I'm
Okay,
going to talk about is not just the money that
R
it costs you.
ROI with opportunity costs and value included.
There you go. Exactly. So again, we can define value in a number of different ways. But so we talked about the money.
It's very open.
The
Yes.
second is the time cost. The time cost, man, that's a big one. That's one thing that young people at that age range don't always think about. The average time to complete a 4 year degree is 5 to 6 years. That's the average for a 4 year degree. I spent significantly longer getting a 4 year degree. Uh, Sorry, mom and dad. Um, these years represent founders' prime opportunities for risk taking, learning by doing, and gaining real world experience. Look, I'm going to be straight. Anybody who's gone to college knows most of your time in college is not spent learning anything. Most of your time in college is spent. It's just an excuse to drink for 4 or 5 years with your buddies. Uh, meet lots of neat people, do lots of things that you probably regret later on, and
Social integration.
that's a big part of it. That's a really big part of it.
Sell
But
salesman.
also, but also, you got to think if you were really, really focused, if you just made a game plan if you made a roadmap for yourself, where do I want to be in 5 years? And you looked at that when you were 18 or 19 and you stuck with it, do you think your time would be better spent spending 4 or 5 years drinking and trying to get through class while hungover, or working your ass off in a field that could be lucrative down the road? I'm just saying, there's something to be said for both. Because here's the thing,
Well,
I will go into my experience.
we represent both sides of that coin
Well,
on
yeah,
this show.
that's it. That's it. So I would say, okay, I'm going to get into my thoughts at the very end. I'm going to get into my thoughts at the very end. But a lot of the college experience is meeting people, socializing, and if you do it well, guess what? You're gonna. What's the old saying? Surround yourself with. Show me the 5 people that you surround yourself with the most, and I'll show you your future. So it's a terrible paraphrase, but it's true. in college, if you surround yourself with people who are on the right
It
track,
was
guess
close.
what?
It was a good paraphrase.
There you go.
You know, show me your 5 closest friends, and I'll show you your future.
That's it. So if you surround yourself with people on the right trajectory, guess what? Chances are you're going to go the same way. You surround yourself with scumbags who just want to drink all the time. I'm just saying. It's a
Yeah.
very real thing, and I've seen it happen both ways. Um, I went to art school, so my experience, I think, was different from most people's college experiences, but not by much, really. Uh, the opportunity cost in delaying a startup. Again, David, our very first show was everybody has an idea. Everybody has $1 million idea. When was the best time
I
to plant a tree?
believe that I 30 years ago,
When was the second best time to plant a tree?
right now,
Now, if you,
I
yeah,
believe
go ahead.
I'm sorry, I believe that statement of everybody's walking around with $1 million idea. I believe it now more than I'm going to rephrase it. I'm not going to use the word believe. I understand it and support it more now
Mm-hmm.
than I did when we first launched 5 years ago.
That's it.
It the things, and I talk to a ton of people, a ton. Everybody watching this right now, you've got that idea.
Mm-hmm.
You've got it. If you're a if you're afraid, I'm gonna tie this back in with something we've already said. If you're afraid to move forward or you're not being supported, embrace to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Show me your 5 closest friends, and I'll show you your future. That may mean that you need to start hanging out with different people.
Yeah, and that's one thing a lot of people have a hard time getting over too, is coming to the realization that maybe the people they're hanging out with the most aren't the best influences. They're not going to help them get to that next level. And I would say most people, they're
Do
afraid
you
to
know what
make
I?
that leap. They're afraid to let go of this in order to get there.
Yeah. Do you know there is? I'm not a super proud. I mean, I seem proud. I'm a very
You're
peacock.
so humble. David's the
So
the
very humble.
poster
A
child of
bit,
humility.
yes. The poster humility, absolutely. But do you know what? Do you know why the thing that impacts me to be as confident as I am?
Hmm.
That people around me, I talk to them all. I talk to them all. I get the people around me that start succeeding in life
Mm-hmm.
and start growing in life.
Mm-hmm.
That feeds back to me going, you know what? I'm one of those 5 people that they want to be around because they want to grow.
Right. That's it. Look. You got to take pride in that, and I think you should,
I,
because it's true. And
that is something I actually do take. I'm very very proud of that thing. My job, money, all this stuff. I don't care, but this is the place.
well, it's because you know that hypothetically, if it all went away, you could rebuild again. Because you've
Oh
done it
yeah,
once, you
absolutely.
can do it again.
Yeah. I've done it a couple times. I can do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
I can do it again. I'll do it again. It'll be fine.
So let's talk about the opportunity cost of delaying a startup. Right? We talked about the best time planetary was 30 years ago. To get a 4-year degree, it often takes 5 to 6 years on average. Uh, Look, during that time, that 5 to 6 years, if you just started something and stuck with it with a solid roadmap, man, we've talked about road mapping a lot, and we should do it again. During that time, you could have tried and failed and tried and failed and tried and failed 100 times. And guess what? One of those times, it just takes one of those times to be successful. You can be building revenue and experience and network building. I mentioned one of the benefits of college in my experience was network building, meeting people who are on the same trajectory as you. But look, if you're building something and you know the roadmap that you want to follow to get to where your ultimate goal is, you can spend that 5 years networking on your own. You can find other networking opportunities. You can go other places and meet other people. David, I met you not through college, through other organizations. Those are things that you can do and meet people who are 10 times, 100 times more likely to get you and help you get and support you while you're getting to the place that you want to go.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I mean, look, just because you can do good networking in college doesn't mean you can't do good networking out of college. And you can
Yeah,
actually get more experience doing what you're doing a lot of times than college because you're not worried about writing a paper. You're not worried about going to,
yeah,
chemistry or bio 101 that you're just sailing through trying to get that credit. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
The piece of paper, yeah. So yeah, I tell my son right now, I was like, hey, I want you to go back. I want you to get an associate's degree.
Hmm.
I want you to get an associate's degree. It's nothing more. It is in this state we could do it rather low cost because we can do a state college, SUNY, which is State University of New York. Uh, so I say, hey, I want you to get that. Do I think he's going to learn a single bit of information that's going to propel him? Hell no. If he did
Hmm.
a bachelor's degree, do I think he's going to pick up something that's going to open a door from him from an educational standpoint? No. There's going to be next to zero value in the actual education of it because education is garbage right now. Um, and I'm gonna call them out because I mean, there's very few places that are worse than academia right now.
Yeah.
Very few. I mean, it is a cesspool. And but that's not the value. It's the value is an illustration to a potential employer of completion at a young age. At my age, I could care less. I toy with the idea of going to school. I toy with the idea of doing this, that, and the other. But when I really get boiled down to brass tacks, I'm like, you know what? I'd rather, if I want to learn this, I want to go take that class. I could
Right.
care less about the degree. And now I'm to the point where I actually don't even have to sign up for a class to go learn that stuff. I have friends who know it who are willing to teach me.
Oh yeah.
Any discipline that I want, I know somebody in it. I can go learn that and then I can incorporate that into my life. And then I've got that, I can build on those experiences. It is going to be far more valuable than anything a college can give to me. But there are some places, some things that I think you need a college for. So let's not just
Oh yeah.
being one who didn't go to school. Let's not just browbeat them. So let's go over a couple places. What are things you think a college degree is good for? A MBA should be removed from the face of the planet. They are absolute garbage. I laugh at them when people go, "Oh yeah, I've got an MBA from XYZ college." I'm like, all right, so I'm gonna put you over here with some crayons,
Right.
and you just keep yourself occupied for a while because we're gonna talk on levels that you can't comprehend.
Right. Exactly. So look, I will, since you're going there, I will take the opportunity to say, yeah, we're not just shitting on college. We're not just shitting on college. I went to college and I did find it really, really valuable for me. I think if I could go back in time, I would change certain things and certain life goals at the time that it took me a while to figure out. But college did a couple really important things for me. It taught me how to think in ways that high school and previous school experiences didn't do. Uh, yeah, I went to art school, so going to art school, critical thinking is not one of their top priorities. But what it, but I am the
I
maybe
can only imagine. So okay, no, Wes, because I know you, and you are a fairly competent critical thinker. I can just imagine your struggle in classes full of people
yeah,
who are not critical thinkers at all.
the struggle is
Oh,
real. The struggle is real. So
that is that is hilarious. The movie that's playing in my head right
oh man,
now,
yeah.
West, the college years in 3D. Oh, it's great. It's
Picture
great.
me having steam coming out of my ears because I'm not allowed to say what I'm
It's
thinking. Um,
or steam coming out of yours because somebody up there is, you know, 38 minutes or an hour and 38 minutes into their whatever the hell they're talking about, but they haven't said anything.
right, exactly. Yeah, it was.
I'd be like Joe Biden when asked any question at all.
I was. The tea kettle effect was a very real thing. But so what? So I'm maybe my experience was different from other people but I'm by nature more rebellious, I think, than most people. I have a more rebellious mindset and way of thinking. I just like to do things different and take different paths than most people. So, one thing that it did for me was it taught me to actually be a better critical thinker. Because going to an art school with my particular mindset and proclivities, I actually had to have ironclad,
Proclivities.
ironclad arguments and statements to define the way I think and why I think that way. Because when you're going up against a whole university of people who think
I
one way,
feel they no, no, no. They don't go, I think this way. They say, I feel this way.
exactly,
And
exactly,
when you are putting logic, reason, and analytics against feelings,
right, right. But
that's
but
a tough one.
coming out of high school, I didn't have the vocabulary,
Where ah
or the wherewithal. I didn't have the vocabulary really to define what I was thinking and feeling, even though it was based on real data. I'm I'm personally data driven, even though I'm highly creative. Um, those two don't really mesh well, which kind of leads to a lot of the weird neurological disorders I tend to have. But it taught me how to think in ways that I don't think I could have gotten outside of college. Um, some of the network that I built there, it taught me how to network that I didn't get in high school. Some of the things that high school didn't teach me that were vitally important, I had to teach myself in college, and college did help to a certain degree, but it put me in an environment to where I could teach myself those things. Because there were things I knew I needed, so I developed them. Versus just right out of college, right out of high school, if I just went right into the workforce, I might have just gone into retail and stayed there for the rest of my life, and I'd be, managing a Walmart somewhere. It's very possible. So, you know, in college, I got to try a lot of new technical things, a lot of new creative ways of creative thinking, and integrating that into my critical thinking abilities. So, I think for me, it was good because it wasn't just all about drinking and partying all the time, but I know a lot of people who that's what it was all about, and that's what they're still doing today. So, I think it's all about how you embrace the experience. But again, it's not for everybody.
agreed, agreed. So Nikki, my wife, she did Columbus State, then
Hmm.
Ohio State. She did no social integration whatsoever.
Okay, and I can see that being a good thing. I can also see that being a hindrance. But at the same time, if you just go and you focus on the workload and you get all you can out of that workload, I think the social element is kind of secondary at that point. If you're not worried about the networking, it can just be secondary.
I I'm going to argue with you on that.
Okay.
I'm going to argue with you on that. I love it. I love it. I like arguing with you. Um, I I can't think of a single role in any position at any level
Hmm.
that you would not be better served by the social interaction and integration
Okay.
than you would be the subject matter material.
You are a highly social person, and I totally get where you're coming from on that. And on
Yeah.
that same note, I actually do agree that no matter what degree you get, and they should start this in preschool, there should be a mandatory for every year that you're in school, all the way up through college and university. There should be a mandatory public speaking course that you must complete. You must get up in front of a class and speak and make an argument, maybe a debate class, maybe public speaking of some sort, maybe just a networking class teaches you how to network, teaches you how to speak in social, environments, because some people don't even have that skill. Man, I've known lots of people
Oh
who they
yeah.
have zero social skills. They just can't do it.
So how with the group that you and I met through, how much improved did your public speaking skills become through that organization?
Uh, a fair amount. A fair amount. I think so. I actually remember specifically, it was eighth grade that I discovered that I was a pretty good public speaker. I think the group that you and I met through, um, I learned certain memorization techniques that I could integrate into public speaking that helped a little bit. Um, I learned where I was lacking and where I could improve certain areas of that. But I think the organization that you and I met through, that's one of the core benefits of that group is the ability to speak publicly and in front of people and speak with authority when you do, because that's part of it too. Anybody
Yes.
can get up in front of a group and just ramble off words, but if you can get up in front of a group and actually speak confidently and
Yeah.
command the room, that's something completely different.
So without college, I would say from a guy that doesn't have a college degree and a college background, that is the most powerful aspect that I have going for me
Yeah. Yeah, your public speaking
is
skills are second to none.
my ability to command and control a room.
Right. Yeah, your public speaking skills are second to none. That's why I'm saying, honestly, I think every elementary school student should take public speaking and networking courses. I think that should just be mandatory learning from kindergarten all the way through university.
So I thought the same thing, but we have a mutual ish friend who sings our intro song. That they are educators,
Hmm.
and this was my idea because I hate the idea of the binary right or wrong
Okay.
at a super young age. I my thought process is if you teach art and music and the arts in general at a super young age or at that young age, kindergarten, pre-K, maybe first grade, and you don't get to things that are right or wrong like math and ABC and all these things.
Hmm.
Those things are finite. That it would be a much more beneficial, a much more to our worldwide benefit to do that because from a young age we're taught that's right, this is wrong, that's right, this is wrong, that's right, this is wrong, and you are taught, your answer is right or your answer is wrong, and we all want to believe our answer is right.
Right, of course.
But if you were taught art, or let's say the arts from a young age, that that's 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 subjective. So you were not talking about right or wrong.
Are you saying that's a good thing or
So
a bad thing?
I'm saying it's a good thing because you're being taught at a young age that just
Yeah,
because somebody came to a different conclusion than you
right.
doesn't make them necessarily wrong. That way they understand that. Then let's bring them through. So it's just not to go on
So, well, I think what you're saying
a
is kind of apples
tirade
and
here.
oranges from what I think what you're
Oh
saying
yeah,
is apples and oranges from what I'm saying.
oh
So,
yeah, yeah. I went off. I went apples and oranges. I'm over in the banana field at this point, bud. I just that's I've always felt that. I felt it for 25, 30, 25 plus years,
oh yeah.
and I just think it's a actually much closer to 30 now, a much better scenario. And I think if you were to teach that and then get rid of the garbage education system that we have and put in a quality education system, that we don't need a million college campuses across the country. We just need a couple of really good trade schools. And to make sure you understand what I say, I believe doctors and basically med school, that's a trade school.
It should be viewed as
And
a trade school. It kind of
it
is.
is a trade school.
Yeah.
And it needs to be used as a trade school, thought of as a trade school, and activated as a trade school. You can get in trade school. You can be an apprentice electrician or plumber.
Right.
You can be an apprentice or a resident in a doctor. You can be a journeyman. You can be an MD. You can be a lead. You can do all these things. They follow the same progression, the same path.
Yeah, you're right. It really is. So, the fact that those two things are sort of broken out into they're sort of almost it's almost taboo to compare them like that, but they're really the same thing.
Yeah,
They each have
they are
these. They're
extremely
they're
similar.
traditionally viewed as these two completely different verticals, but they're really very similar when you look at it that way. It's really trade school. You're right.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
you know, let's okay. So we're gonna skip over a couple of the bullet points here and just get right to the nuts and bolts.
Well, I can't
Let's look
see.
at.
I can't see the bullet points because I don't have my other screen now because I'm
Uh-huh.
down to an iPad.
It's fine.
So
Let's look
if
at a
I'm
couple.
off and left and right and I'm not sticking to the agenda, it's because I can't see it.
Well, so to your point about the trade schools, I wish I'd thought of this and pulled the video clip. Although it probably would have frozen given the technical issues we're having. I should have thought about this. The episode of South Park. Remember the episode of South Park where
The COVID
it was
fix
one of
the
the
oven
COVID. It
drawer.
was one of the COVID episodes, and all of the
Yeah.
tradesmen, the plumbers and the electricians, they're all driving around in like Lambos and Ferraris and stuff, and they're blinged out in gold, and they're making
Do you need
tons of
some
money.
geology? Do you need some
Well,
geology?
so everybody watching and listening, this is what's going on. So standing in front of Home Depot are all the people with these big university degrees, and Stan's dad is there. He's a geologist, and somebody drives up in their Lamborghini in front of Home Depot. He's like, "Hey, do you want some geology?" And doctors and not like doctors, people with like PhDs and like high end degrees are sitting there trying to sell their wares to people in front of Home Depot. It's really really funny. So
It
honestly, the
is absolutely
trades,
hilarious.
people with actual tangible skills that you learn from like a trade school, I mean, that's something that's always going to be in demand. Somebody with a tangible skill, life skill that you can actually do. Guess what? There's no robot or AI that's ever going to threaten that job. It's just not going to happen. There's no, somebody with a PhD isn't going to come along and take your job. They're not going to.
So in 1996, when
Yeah.
I went to trade school in '96, and people told me we had the computer guys were all there, and everybody's like, "Oh no, computers are gonna put you guys out of business." And I took electrical trades.
Hmm.
I was like, "You got to plug that damn thing in somewhere, bud."
Hmm. That's it.
There's not. I mean, yeah, you got to plug that thing in. You know what? Your job has probably been downsized 50 times, and mine's been expanded. See, I don't even want to think. I don't even think how many times electricians have been expanded.
Right.
And
That's it.
that's why I tell people when they ask, this is I alternate between I do some sales stuff because when anybody asks what I do, it's just too damn complicated to go into.
Hmm.
So it's like I do some sales stuff, or I go well by trade I'm an electrician,
Right.
and you know what
I think
I'm just as proud of that
I think for an
as
electrician, you're doing pretty well for yourself. I think you've built something pretty good.
yeah. So I'm just as proud of that as I am saying my long-winded title that doesn't really mean anything.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So let's jump down to some of the most notable examples of college dropouts. Here are some of the most famous college dropouts. Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, founder of Apple, dropped out of college. Bill Gates, founder of Microsoft. Mark Zuckerberg, Meta. We mentioned Mark Zuckerberg was actually offering people scholarships, if you can call it a scholarship, for if they would drop out of university. Evan Williams makes great bourbon. Also, one of the founders of Medium and Twitter.
All I knew that name was like, oh wait, we're talking about whiskey now.
The
I'm
bourbon
like,
guy.
I
Whiskey
switched
guy.
over, and I'm highly recommending you drink bourbon in a glass after a glass of rum.
Oh,
It
I'll,
is
I'll bet the flavor
nice.
differences there is a nice pairing. Yeah.
Oh, it pairs. Now, I wouldn't mix the two. I wouldn't mix the two.
Just pour them together in
But
a big cup, big gulp.
yes, a big gulp. Yeah, go for Gomart here. Um, but no, I just poured it right in after my second rum there, and uh, that was that was delicious, absolutely delicious. Mainly because it stayed on the nose as you're
Sure.
drinking,
Yeah. See that.
which really gave it a nice sweet finish to it. It's very good, very good.
I can see that. So look,
Yes.
we're not
All right.
basically
So
what it
who
comes
else we
down to
got?
is basically what it comes down to is we're not shitting on college. College has
I'm
and
shitting
it
on
will
college.
always have a valuable place in society. But unless it fits
Yeah.
into your long-term game plan, unless it fits into your long-term roadmap, and you're there for a specific education or a specific purpose, chances are you don't need to spend $100,000 to $200,000. Now, David, you're shaking your head. I still think there's a place for it. There's a place for everything. It's just being misused right now because the education
Oh yeah,
system has brainwashed people into thinking it's absolutely necessary.
FUBAR.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's completely FUBAR. The whole setup, the whole thing is completely FUBAR. There are degrees you can take that offer no, and this is where it comes to the ROI side of it. There are degrees you can take that just that have no return.
Right, that's it.
That just has no return.
Is the useless degrees too? Like if you go there for an
Yeah.
actual useful degree in a specific field that you want to succeed in, that's great. But like underwater basket weaving, or medieval German poetry, look, you're wasting your money and your time. What are you doing?
That's You know what? There is nothing wrong with underwater basket weaving. I mean that seems like that's one of those. That seems like it could be a club.
Exactly.
It seems like it could be a club of like, hey, we've all made fun of underwater basket weaving for
Right.
100 years. Let's just have an underwater basket weaving club and get it off of the thing here.
Same with
Which
medieval German poetry.
Yeah, medieval
That's a
German
club.
poetry.
That's a club.
That's a club. That's a club. Don't get me wrong. There are some very good things, and I just to leave this out there. I mean, Wes and I are both rather stoic or stoicism driven individuals. We read stuff that's a lot older than medieval German poetry,
Now and then we do, yeah.
but we don't have a freaking degree in it because there's no value in it. I can't have a degree in stoicism and go like, what are you? I'm a stoic. Hire me. Well, yeah, for all of my stoic needs, I'll hire you. I have no stoic needs, so I guess you're unemployable.
That's it.
That would be it. So it's a club. It's a thing. It could be part of who you are. It can be the center of who you are outside of your degree that actually pays you.
Oh man, David, have you seen that video?
We call those hobbies.
Have you seen that video that went around maybe a couple months ago? It was a compilation of people, I forget what university it was, where they were asking graduating seniors what their major was.
Oh my lord! Did
you
you
remember that
lady? Oh,
And they were like,
dude.
it was like 20 or 30 people talking about these. Oh, my focus was on this. My focus was, because they can't call them majors anymore. My focus is on this. And every single one of them, you're like, what are you even talking about? You think you're going to get a job doing this?
Yeah. What kind of okay? That's a club,
right?
And I think we really need to go back to that. You could boil it down to an Associate of Arts or a Bachelor of Arts and a Bachelor of Science.
Mm-hmm.
There's some delineation there, and there are a couple of them that are going to be able to straddle both sides of that, and that's okay. And at that point, you get the BA or the BA or the BS, the BABS. Okay, so if you one of the straddle, you get a BABS. If you're BS or you're a BA, and that kind of needs to be where it ends.
Yeah, pretty much. I have a BFA, by the way, fine art, Bachelor of Fine Art. So
Bachelor of Fine Art,
not just a BA, a BFA. So
BFA.
So, David, what do you think the solution to this is? Do you think it comes down to parents working with their kids around the high school ages to help them build a life plan and roadmap? What do you think is the solution to this? Because right now, there's almost a social taboo if you go and tell kids, "Oh, college is worthless." It's not really worthless, but it's not for everybody. But if you go around saying that, it's very taboo at this point. There are even some big companies that won't promote you beyond a certain level if you don't have a degree. They don't care in what, they just want to see that degree.
Yeah. My own self, I've had to break through that. I've had people rewrite job requirements because I don't have a degree.
Right. Yeah.
They're like, no, we want you for this. Let's rewrite this to where it just says you got to have all this.
And companies who have that college degree requirement, again, it's ridiculous because they don't care what the degree is in as long as you have that degree, which is the dumbest thing ever. I know people who are being held back in their careers because they don't have a degree.
Yeah. So and you made a comment. I think the whole college world, we need to take a 10-15 year break because we've got to get the people that are in it just out. We've got to we need to let them starve. Okay, we literally do. People like ITT Tech, which is probably gone, DeVry University, which I also believe is gone, which I don't know how the hell they failed. Um, right now, a business like that would be huge. Or when I say a business, but a college, which is a business, would be huge.
Yeah.
Uh, there's a lot to be brought in there, and we need to let the colleges starve. And when I say starve, we need to let them die.
Let them die and
We
then
need to let
start
them
over.
die
I can see that.
10, 15 years and let them die because there is nothing that they bring that we couldn't have certificate programs in place
Hmm.
right now that says, hey, I want to be a phlebotomist and, draw blood and so on and so forth. And that's just what you go to school for.
Right. Oh yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
if you want to add to that, and then once you get to a certain number of these certificates, you could trade them in for a nursing assistant or something along those lines. Say, hey, I've met the requirements for this by doing all these other certification
I think
classes.
maybe more fields
I
need to bring in the apprentice, the idea of having an apprentice. Think
I'm
if
not gonna
every,
say I'm not
think
gonna
if
say
every
no to that.
career
That'd be great.
think if every career out there had an apprentice. You know, you get
Yeah,
real world
yeah,
experience. You get training from a professional. The professional gets
yeah,
the benefit of having an apprentice handy to do the shit work. I mean, it's a thing.
yeah. And you get it, yeah. And guess what? Guess what? We're not reinventing the wheel here. This has been done a long time,
Right.
a very long time. The apprentice program has been
Well,
around
yeah.
a long
You look
time,
at
and
old
in
school
and in
guilds
trade
from the Middle
schools and in
Ages.
trades they do it already. But yes, go back to the Middle Ages. Yeah,
Yeah, go back to guilds in the Middle Ages. They had levels. They had apprentices who'd come and follow seasoned professionals to learn their trade, a highly skilled trade that not everybody could do because it required techniques that you could only learn from hands-on experience. So, David, back to my idea about what do you think about like parents working with their kids, or maybe through high school ages, to build sort of a life roadmap, right? What do you think? Because I honestly think if I had a concrete roadmap of where I wanted to be, how I was going to get there, my life could be in a very different place. Now, I'm not complaining my life is great. I'm just saying I wouldn't have wasted so much time going down this path or going down that path. I could have had this roadmap laid out ahead of time, and you can pivot and make changes along the way. But like to have the idea even of what a life plan is or roadmap is, versus just the next natural progression is high school then college, just because that's what's done. I know you work with your son a lot about how to manage money and how to do this and how to do that. And you've had a big
yeah.
impact, and I
You
think a
ain't
pretty
freaking
good impact.
listening. Yeah. It sounds good until you end up with a dog in your house, a boat, a snowmobile, a motorcycle, and yeah, yeah. I've
That,
done great.
well, I mean that's just because you're a bad parent. But aside from that, you've done a great job.
Aside from being a bad parent, you're a great parent. Nah,
No, you've worked
luckily
with him a lot. You've done
he's
some
able
good
to.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Plus, I mean, I put him on the path to, at 20 years old, all
Right.
those things I rattled off, he bought and paid for
Yeah.
cash.
Yeah, he's got a good career ahead of him. I mean, and
Yeah.
that's I don't think he could have gotten that if he were, drinking his days away at college.
No, I don't think so either. And, he actually went for a semester and gave it a try.
Hmm.
Cost me a freaking fortune. Jesus, Mary Joseph. But, he went, he gave it a try. It
Hmm.
really wasn't for him. And, I still want him to get his associate's degree, but
Hmm.
it's more about a completion aspect than a educational aspect.
Right. Exactly. So
So,
what do you think the solution?
but as far as a roadmap, all I can say is if I were to if I would have tried to do a roadmap for Noah
With Noah, not for
at the age of 18,
eh?
we know better than our parents.
You don't think you would have gone with
It's
for that at all?
Yeah, it's not until 24, 25, maybe 26
Yeah.
that people can realize, oh, their parents maybe were
Sure.
on something.
Yeah.
Not me. I'm
Good point.
smarter than my parents at all ages and all aspects.
Hmm.
Uh,
I
my
get it.
mom's not watching, so I can get away with saying shit like that.
We've all been there, man.
Um,
We've all been there.
so yeah, I mean, it would have been a hard sell.
Hmm.
However, if that becomes the norm, then I think we have a much better chance. So if we need to let the colleges starve. We
So,
literally need to let them starve and die.
considering that's unfortunately just not going to happen. I mean, it's
Agreed.
those institutions are what they are. They've
So
multi-billion
we attack
dollar
at dawn.
endowments for a reason. So, some
We
countries,
start with that one.
some countries uh, actually advocate for their young people having what's called a gap year, where they come out of school and before they go to college or university, they spend a year just finding themselves traveling, working a couple part-time jobs, doing whatever, just discovering life a little bit before they go right back into school. I think that's kind of a good idea. That can kind of
I
give you
think
that
that is probably the most valuable.
yeah.
Now, if we were to pair that with a certificate or a trade school, so you get all right. Let's look at it from the perfect world standpoint here.
Hmm.
You don't know at 18. You don't know what you want.
Fair enough.
At
That's
19, you really don't.
right.
But if you took the year of 19, let's call it 18 to 20,
Hmm.
because you don't graduate. Let's just call it 18 to 20.
So a
So in
2 year
the year of
gap
your
year.
20,
Okay.
so basically a year and a half to 2 years for your gap year. This is what I wanted. I wanted Noah to go work for Royal Caribbean Cruise Line,
Ooh,
to
that's a good idea.
cruise the world,
Yeah.
to be exposed to all of this stuff, to learn to integrate, to learn to socialize
Hmm.
more than anything. Integration's one thing, but socialization is, I fit in even at the places that you don't believe I should fit in.
I've seen it
We're at a
firsthand.
freaking.
I've seen it firsthand. It's
If I'm
true.
at a if I'm what do you call it, suit black tie event, I look
But
like I
you have to
belong
admit
there.
you're an anomaly on that. You have to admit you're an anomaly. Most people just aren't gonna be that social chameleon.
They're not going to be like that day one. I'm not like that day one. I was not like that day one. It
Well,
took a while. It took a
yeah,
lot
well,
of social interaction. It took a lot of things. That's what I'm saying is get that time and learn that
sure.
social interaction part.
Right. Some
And
people that should
then,
at least be a relative, not to your level, but a relative proficiency.
exactly. So, you know what, just because somebody, and this is aimed at you people,
I thought you were talking to me. Okay,
you,
go ahead.
not you, but you people, that when you come across a person that has a different opinion, viewpoint, or perspective than you don't absolutely lose your shit.
Oh wait, this was directed at me. Shit. Okay. All right.
No, it wasn't. Um, it was not. But that we see a lot of that going on even right now. That we have a lot of
Yeah.
people out there that just can't. And I'm literally sitting with a guy this week. I'm sitting with a guy this week. He is saying stuff about an area of business that I am absolutely rock solid on.
Hmm.
Literally one of the world's leading people
Hmm.
on this thing. And he said something, and I'm not correcting him. I don't need to correct him. There's no upside to it.
Right.
So it's a couple lessons and a couple ways that you can say, hey, I can fit in here, I can fit in there, I can work my way through, and I can get through stuff.
Hmm.
That's extremely important. Now, if you were to pair that gap year with a certification level,
Hmm.
uh, instead of a college degree, I
Hmm.
think that is perfecto.
Oh yeah.
But as you said, let's face it, David, we're not going to starve the colleges to death, and they're not going to go away.
Unfortunately, they're just not. It's just there's
Uh, yes, I still fully support, embrace, and encourage the gap 18 to 24 months.
I think it's a great idea. Now imagine, yeah,
I think it's a wonderful idea.
imagine every, 18 to 20-year-old spending, at least most of that time driving for Uber or working in a Starbucks or working in a Walmart. And then at the end of that 2 years, they can go to a trade school and realize I don't need to make this wage working retail or driving somewhere. I can make this
Yeah,
much money with a trade. They're going to feel that much more empowered because they've seen this side of life. Guess what? Now they can
yeah,
experience this side of life if they do this process. Versus
yeah.
right out of high school, right into college, they don't even know what the real world is until they're out of college. That's part of it too. When you're in college, you're still insulated from the real world for the most part.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Most people come out of college and they're basically still children because they've never experienced the real world. They've never experienced, for the most part, I really need money because I need to pay rent. I need to pay these bills. Oh, guess what? I need to pay for my own Netflix. Well, crap, I'm not paying for Netflix. Oh man, I can't go out every weekend and drink with my buddies because I have to be at work or I have obligations or I just don't have the money that I had.
Yeah.
There's so many things that you're being held back by with college, but at the same, if there's a benefit, I still think there's a benefit if you have it as part of a life plan. But as you said, David, what 18-year-old has a life plan or a
And
realistic
what
life?
18 and what 18-year-old would allow you to put together a life plan and then stick to it? That is something you would have to work their whole life building.
Right.
And they would basically have to sign off on it at the age of let's double digits. Let's say they when they turn 10, hey, we're going to start planning for your future. 10 years old, that's a lot on them. But it's a hey, it's a building process. We're going to hone it. I want you to experience. So could you advance that and get them the social integration, the social interaction that they need to be able to do to have that to where they're not starting from behind in their small minds from high school to college,
Well,
but
yeah.
they're open minds. And the problem with that is if you go there, the problem I see right now is college is one of the main things that colleges are doing is closing their minds as fast as possible. And then,
Well,
that
it's not even about open minds versus closed minds. I think it's about embedding of ideologies. And that's
yes,
a whole different
that's
political conversation we're not going to get into because
yes.
we don't do
Which
politics on this show.
no. We're not talking politics. We're talking return on investment.
But
We're
those
talking return
ideologies,
on
I think they're
investment.
right. I think there are more certain ideologies are a better return on investment than others. I think unfortunately too much politics is caught up in college right now versus education. There's way more politics than education happening in colleges right now.
Extremely,
And
extremely.
it
And
doesn't matter whether you're on the left or
if
the
we
right.
looked at
It
it
shouldn't be
does.
about
It
politics.
absolutely
It should be
does.
about
It
education
absolutely
according to a
does.
life plan.
Agreed, it should be. But there is one political party and one political ideology that basically owns academia, even from the K-12
Oh yeah.
to the upper education,
Hmm.
to post to undergrad, graduate, and postgrad. Well, postgrad it usually depends on what the field is. Even graduate and like PhD level stuff, those break off a little bit more because you have to have a little more actual life experience in
Hmm.
there, and that's where that other side kind of fails.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, again, it says it's not to do with politics; it's everything to do with business, the business, and it's return on the investment. And from a personal return on investment, the return on investment that I put in my personal life is far more important than the return on investment that happens in business over here to me.
Hmm.
That's over there. If I invest time in something or invest in someone here, the return that I want to see now, not always necessarily monetary. In fact, it's extremely rare that it's monetary. But I care a lot more for that than I do the other stuff.
Yeah, I get it. I think you're in a slightly different bubble than most people. You know, y- y-
I am the bubble. What are you
you
talking about?
well, so you say, "Oh, my interests aren't monetary." Unfortunately, most people who say their interests aren't monetary are people with whom monetary interests
With
are a moot
whom?
point to begin with. I'll put it that way. I think that's not the bubble that a lot of people live in. I think most people are in the bubble of unfortunately. Now we can get into the mentality of scarcity versus abundance, but I think you are living in an abundance mentality versus most people who are in a scarcity mentality because they don't have a lot of money. So I think a
I
lot of
believe the
people,
same exact thing when I lived in my car.
again, yes and no. So I get it. I get it. It's a mentality again, abundance versus scarcity, and an abundance mentality does lead to an abundance of income, but that is a form of education that I don't think most people have. Most people, a lot of people, maybe not most, grow up in the scarcity mentality. Oh, I don't have much money. I got a budget according to X, Y, and Z. Um, and you can still do that and have abundance mentality. It's just the way of thinking about things. But I think, unfortunately, most people with the abundance mentality live in a certain bubble, and that is not where most people are coming from. I'll put it that way. I'm trying to be nice and political about
I
it.
think he just called me a rich snob.
I mean, I wouldn't say that.
Oh yeah, Dave, I didn't say that, but yeah,
I would never actually say that to you, David.
I wouldn't say it to you, David. But man, you're one of the smartest people I know. You can kind of yeah.
Now that's a
Oh,
whole
it's
different
good
show, though.
stuff.
The abundance mentality versus scarcity mentality, and how you
That's
think about things
actually
does actually lead into how you live your life and what does come back to you. It goes into sort of the idea. We did a show on visualization leading to abundance, which is a real thing, only because not because of some woo woo, putting thoughts out into the universe kind of thing, but because the way you
yes,
think about things, you will
manifestation.
naturally bring things in to your life. Um, so yeah, the manifestation idea, right? It's not magical. There's actually a physical properties to it, and it's all about how
Yeah,
you think about things. But that's a different conversation altogether, so I won't go there.
yeah, yeah. Where your attention goes,
The energy flows. It's a real thing.
yeah,
And I don't mean
it is.
magical energy. I mean your physical energy and your thought energy. It's a real thing.
Yeah, and your time and your efforts, and that's what we mean by energy
Right.
goes and flows. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Not your aura.
All
That's
right. So what? Yeah, not your chakras. You don't have to release your chakras and drink the onion pickle juice. Nah, or
actually
onion
I do
banana
like
juice.
pickled
I'm
onion
sorry.
juice. It's pretty tasty.
I'm sorry, onion banana juice from the last Airbender Avatar.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
Oh, the chakras. You don't remember the guy with the chakras?
I know
It's
chakras. I don't
great.
know onion banana juice.
Banana onion. It's just like
I don't know
onion
that one.
banana juice. It is.
That sounds
Yeah,
terrible. Okay.
it does absolutely in every single way. I can't eat onion too much. Um, so what else we got? What else we got here?
That was really it. So we skipped a couple bullet points, but we've been
So,
going for about 2.5 hours. So
so don't go to
basically, we're
college.
not shitting on
It's
college. We're just
much
saying it's
more.
not for everybody.
Oh wait, I thought we were shitting on college.
Oh wait, no, we are totally shitting on college.
Oh, okay, good. All right, we're just telling people we're not while doing it.
We're trying to be
All right,
nice.
good.
No, I
We're
no, I
good.
think I
I'm all
think
right with
college
it.
was actually valuable for me, but I think I probably could have achieved pretty similar results in half the time. Again, thanks, mom and dad, and I'm sorry at the same time. But it's not for everybody. You just got to know. I think if you can get to a place early on, and if you can help your kids get to a place early on to where they know themselves, and you can help them build the idea of the importance of a life plan and a roadmap, and instill that in them at a relatively early age, that can be infinitely more valuable than college and a lot less expensive. And I'll just leave it at that.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. So, I'd say that wraps us up pretty good. Next week, keep a watch on Facebook. We have to hammer out when I'm flying
We will be
because
live
the
sometime next week when we're not really sure when or what time.
yes,
It will happen
yeah.
next week though.
While Wes is at the beach and David is
Somewhere
in this somewhere, I'm
where
in
in the
Vegas,
world
LA,
is David's new
Reno,
hat?
and New
Yeah.
York City next week. So yeah,
New York City.
it's gonna be fun. Yeah.
Here's what you got to do.
So
David. Here's what you got to do. you need to wear your hat and like a trench coat, and have somebody take a photo of you from like a weird angle, like with some sort of a landmark of the city you're in behind you, and we'll do a "Where in the world is David San Diego" kind of thing.
So I do that a lot. I don't know if you. I know you don't watch
I don't
Facebook
do
enough, but
Facebook.
I put that on almost every week. I put it up
That's
like,
pretty funny.
all right, where the f is David this week, and I'll snap a picture and send it out there, and we'll let people guess. I do it almost every week. Now the good news is next week is Vegas, which I get a back end tour of the Sphere, which I'm
Ooh,
excited about.
nice. We'll do a show from inside the Sphere.
No, I can't do that, but then I'm off to Reno. Then I got to bounce through LA a couple times to do these. Then I'm in New York City. Then I come home, and I get to be home for almost 3 months. The
You say
very
that now.
limited
I don't believe it.
travel.
I don't
No,
believe it.
no, no. Very limited travel. I've got one in July, which I'm timing up to do with the Underdog Journey 5 year. I've got one in August that I'm timing up to do with a cruise, and I've got one in August or September. One
Yeah,
in September.
I totally believe you. Yeah. I
That's
don't think
it.
you're.
No,
I think that's it. No, I'm with you. I'm not being sarcastic
no,
at all. I
no.
totally don't
No,
think you're
no.
gonna do
Oh
any more
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah. Asshole. All right, it's been a great, wonderful evening. 2.5 hours of pure weirdness and technical issues
Oh
that,
man.
for some reason, an iPad of all things, solved the problem.
Look, I'm just
Um,
glad most of the problems weren't just from my side. I can't guarantee that some of them weren't, but it was a weird show. I'm not really sure where the technical
yeah,
difficulties lie. We should do a really thorough test at some point with different devices just to figure out what's going on.
yeah.
But in the meantime, I've been Wes. This guy who's David, and that's his cool new hat. And we will see you guys sometime next week. Check Facebook for updates.